Hello, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to everyone around the world. It is Thursday. In fact, it is Thursday night here on the west coast of the United States, and we are here for a special after dark stream, even though it doesn't look like much has changed in my room. How's everyone doing today? Looks like we got Sam, Sean, Wid, Ruby, Guy Doer, Mystery Light, a couple of other people in the wings. How is everyone doing today? Hope everyone's doing well. Thank you, Ilknock, or Icknock, however you say your name. Thank you so much. So, as I said, today we have another episode of the Producers Roundtable podcast. I can look on my screen right in front of me and I can see all the guests coming in. In fact, you should be able to hear them all now. Let me go turn off my AC unit so we don't have any background noise, and let me go bring them all in. Gentlemen, hello.
Oh shit.
We are now officially live. I have to actually hide my webcam. Hold on. Boop. Okay.
Your energy is so good. I love your energy so far, dude.
Hello, I know. We are
He's
here.
off that vino.
I mean, I'm going to be off a little bit more in a little bit, so we'll be fine. But
Boys are in the chat, man.
anyways, welcome everyone. It's been a while. It's been a couple weeks since the last episode of the podcast. I'm glad to have some faces here that were supposed to be on the stream, about like not even a month ago before this whole pandemic shit went down, and then, life got in the way, but we're here now.
What it do?
So why don't we just start going down the list? A couple of familiar faces, couple of old faces. So why don't we start with my good friend, John, Rejectdamain. Why don't you introduce yourself to everyone?
Hi, I'm Rejectdamain. A lot of people call me Rejectdamain, but that's cool too. I make wonky, cool music, IDM. I make a lot of very weird sound design stuff, but that's what I do.
Okay. All right, and then below Rejectdamain, we have the one, the only, the demon, Nexy.
Oh, dude, what a great introduction. Hey guys, I'm Nexy, man. I'm a part-time magician. I've been working on my magic tricks. And
Yes,
the beer
bro.
for today, you guys are gonna think I'm ridiculous. It's a mango-flavored beer, which sounds disgusting, and I hate fruity-flavored beers. But I promise you, this is the best fruit beer you've ever tasted.
And he's gonna
So
make
good.
it disappear.
Fire!
Keifer, that was
Hell
really
yeah.
good, man.
I'm
I
sure.
wish I had the energy Domain had. You're unbelievable, dude. I love you already.
Oh yeah, RDM
Dude,
is.
it's 11 o'clock where I'm at, dude. It's like nighttime, but I'm in a good mood. I took a nap. I got some beer going, dude. Oh, by the way, I ended up getting tomorrow off, so we're fucking good to go.
Fuck
We're
yeah,
lit.
man. Speaking of, below me, last but not least, I'm trying to remember which webcam I have to face for these fucking introductions. We have Keifergreen.
What's up, y'all? Hey, dude. Glad to be here, man. Thanks for having me on. This is gonna be fun as fuck.
Absolutely, I'm super stoked. I think this is the first time we've had majority hip hop or beat centric producers on. Before now, we've had mostly singer songwriters. We've had EDM producers, and this is the first time I've had people who I consider producers in the original sense of the word. Your job is obviously, to make music, but you work with talent, you work with other artists, and you help them with, their musical vision as well as your own. So I'm super, super stoked for what we're going to talk about today. And that being said, I don't have any fucking topics for this, so.
I want to start with, because me and Nexy haven't even gotten to really talk since the beat battle. We've chatted a little bit, but we're both busy guys. And dude, he went off. If I don't know who all saw the beat battle, I don't want to clout my own shit.
I remember that
really
beat
cool,
battle.
man.
That was
Dude,
sick.
this motherfucker right here made it halfway worth watching. He was half of the fucking impact. That shit was insane, man. You
Yeah, I
went off.
heard. I was like,
Thank
oh
you.
shit. That was a sick ass beat, dude.
He kept fucking with me leading up to it too. He was like, bro, I'm about to have to drop out, man. I can't do it. And I was like, bro, shut the fuck up. I was like, don't say that.
I was
And
kidding,
then-
though. I was totally
Oh,
kidding.
I know you were, but I didn't want to hear that shit, bro. I take it so serious, and it's that's what made it funny, that's why it's funny. But man,
Can I
really
say that was
disarmed me because he went off. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I say that was a legit beat battle? Because I see some shit on IG and they're whack beat battles. That is hella whack.
Oh. Wait, wasn't there a new beat battle with what was his fucking name?
It was Busy Works.
Busy Works,
Beats.
yes.
It was awful.
Okay, how was that? I have not seen that. How was that, please?
No,
Dude,
it's
it was
incredibly
so
bad.
I'm sorry. No, it was bad. Don't even watch it.
It's so bad
I
that it's
watched it.
weird. You're like, what is like?
it
Why
was
is he
weird.
doing this to himself?
Oh my
He
god.
acted like somebody in the comments on that video with it was Busy Works Beats versus who was he facing?
I'm so triggered right now.
King?
The guy who was
Curtis King. Curtis King.
Curtis King. Okay.
The guy who was facing was pretty fucking good. Like he came with some, like he could make some battle beats, you know. And Curtis was roasting him the whole time. And Busy Works Beats, the entire
like
stream was just in like tutorial mode.
Yeah.
Like he wouldn't talk normal.
He didn't know how to turn off the YouTube personality, so
He
the
can't
whole
do it,
time,
dude.
Oh,
it was
no.
Corny,
weird.
bro. It was corny. But since we're talking about beat battles, yeah, man, like that was just the most corniest beat battle I've ever seen in my life.
It was, dude. It was
Like,
so bad.
like, it was bad, bro. I was just like, dude, coming from like someone who's been working with like Team Supreme and stuff, like that was pretty corny. Like
Well, and
oh
it's
my
funny
God.
to me because I don't even know how I got in that situation. Is Busy Works Beats known as a guy who like makes bangers? Like he makes good.
No,
He makes
no,
tutorials, right? Like,
no. They both don't make bangers. I will tell you that. Not
Yeah.
to shoot the shit or shade anything shade. They have great information. They have great information.
Right.
Trust me. I watched them. I've learned some shit. But like, if you're gonna say it's a beat battle, like at least show me what you're making. Like at least show me what you're doing. Like don't present your beat. Like show me how you're.
there are
making it.
tons of producers who I think are like great educated. Like Musar, for example. I love you to death. I think you're a dope producer, but you're not gonna be in the beat. Like you've
Oh,
never.
no.
You've never come to me like I want to be in the. You know what I mean? It's just not. It's not for you.
That was the position I was in. I wanted to prove myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nobody knew me
Yeah.
as like a hip hop guy before that, and I was like,
I respect that.
I don't.
I
understand.
agree.
And that was like that fire I needed to like try to do what I did. You know what I mean? I was like, people are doubting
See,
me. They don't think I could
And
do
that's
it.
the thing.
Let me show them.
That said, if Musar did come to me and was like you, Nexy, like 100% just like, nah, dude, I want to do it. Like, I wouldn't hesitate. Like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I want you in because I want to give you that chance. And you fucking took full advantage, man. Like, you're going for the championship in the next battle, dude. You might end up being the fucking champ if you
Until
if you
Musar
win.
comes
That's
through.
gonna be.
Hits me with
This
fucking
is-
classical arrangements, dude.
See,
Oh,
Nexy,
yeah.
I hope you don't. I
Bop
hope you're
tight
not.
beat, dude.
Hope you realize what you're getting into, man. Because if you end up being the
Musar.
champ, like I'm gonna expect you to defend that title. You know.
No,
But-
keep-
but will
do
I
what signed
say-
up for, man. I won't let you, I don't. If I say I'm gonna do something, I do it, bro.
That is one thing I notice about Nexy. Like, you, like, I know this is just kind of brown nose and shit, but hey, it's been a while since we've all been together. I want to do a little bit of fan service. Honestly, my favorite thing about Nexy, because I will say, last time I went to Nexy's fucking stream, he put me on the spot in front of everybody. So I'm gonna put this motherfucker on the fucking spot and say, you know what I love about Nexy? He hates you, and he's going to make sure that he's better than you. No matter what it means, no matter what it fucking means, whether he's talking about making some fucking mid-tempo, whether he's talking about making some fucking sweet loving jazz music, and whether he's talking about making a fucking trap beat,
He's gonna do it
Nexy
better,
will
yeah.
say, fuck you, I'm better than you, you will suck my cock, and you will say thank you, sir, when you're done.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, I'm just really competitive, right?
He's ruthless, man.
Nexy got that top energy.
And that's like what
True.
drives me in life. You know what I mean? It's like I like proving people wrong. I like surprising people.
Mhm.
That's kind of like my passion.
No, that's very satisfying for people to be like,
No.
whoa, I didn't expect that from you. Like,
Exactly.
hell yeah.
Yeah.
Nexy, I take you're like the person who's like, okay, oh, so try me, like, you know, just kind of that mentality, very hip hop, you know.
Yeah.
So
Like,
yeah,
I love
agree.
that shit, dude.
I feel you.
Yeah,
You
Nexy-
guys are so
feel
sweet,
you.
man. Thank you. I'm totally flattered. I don't even know how to respond.
Well, you know how you could respond? Turn your mic up about 3 dB.
Yeah, give
Roger
us
that.
decibels, man.
Check.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Alrighty. Well, it's like, I think that's actually a good first topic. How do we all feel about competition in music? Like, I will say, starting off, like, I try not to be super competitive with others. I'm very much a fan of, like, challenge yourself. Don't necessarily try to challenge someone else. And if challenging yourself is something that comes from competition, that's awesome. but I think the internal struggle, so to speak, is like my motivator. But clearly, all of you are much more driven, or find that you've gotten some drive, excuse me, from like competition. Do you think that like they are at odds, or do you think it's like the same sort of focus? And open floor.
I think
Open floor.
I like competition. I come from the same like wavelength of you want to compete with yourself first and foremost. Like that motivation to be competitive has to start within. But there's something about pressure, whether it's competitive or otherwise, sometimes financial. Like in my case, when I was really, really down on my shit and like I had to sell beats to fucking pay my bills, you know? And I made some amazing fucking music in those times. Like even solo projects where it was just like, I have to get this out of my system. So whether it's competitive or otherwise, even taking losses, man, like when I was in the beat battle in real life, that's what inspired the whole beat battle league. In the city, they had like a legit, like with big crowds and shit, beat battle. And I won one round and then got fucking eliminated, took fat L's twice. And it made me such a better producer because I still showed up to all the rest of the battles just to watch it, just because I was like, what are they doing that I'm not doing? And then picked up on all that. And, you know, competition is, I think, a good thing. I think like that manifestation of pressure and like fear, almost fear can drive you in some really interesting, creative, like you'll take bigger risks. I feel that way.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, would we have all the Motown records if it wasn't for competition? You know what I mean? The way they were kind of like running them through the door there, and like either write a hit or get the fuck out type of mentality.
Oh yeah.
You know, like I respect the purist mentality. I think for me, I'm the biggest fan of clever things. I think that's why I gravitate toward magic tricks, and I gravitate toward stand-up comedy is really clever, right? Like those are the things in life that get me excited. And I think it's not until music gets competitive that you start to see really clever things happen. And I'm not just talking about beat battles. I'm talking about just like somebody really trying to like make a name for themselves. And that's where you see the risk come from. I know that there's some holes in that argument, but that's kind of my perspective. And that's why I align with find who your enemy is, make an enemy, and then fucking try to outdo them. And it pushes you harder to do cooler shit.
It's very Highlander of you.
Definitely Highlander.
I sound like the biggest tool ever. I hear myself saying this stuff, and I'm just like,
no, that's a good way to learn. That is a good way to learn. Like if that's kind of how I got into rapping, was like I would hear people rap and be like, he should have rhymed this with that, dude. That's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I could do this better. I was like, I'm gonna do this better. Like I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah.
It's you got that top energy, man. I'm just saying
I mean,
that.
Team Supreme, you were name dropping the Team Supreme
I was about to
stuff. I mean,
say.
that is 1,000,000% competition, right?
Yeah,
to me?
no, actually, you know what's funny? I was gonna bring that up about Team Supreme. So what's weird is like I come from, like since I make hip hop and like all that stuff, I don't really come from a competitive mentality. Like how I think about things is like I'm in competition with myself. So if somebody made a dope hit or whatever, or like my homies made a dope beat, like I'll hear them and ask them like, yo, how did you do it? Like I have no shame. It's like no secrets. So like for me, I'm not the competitive type. For me, I like to support people and do what they got to do. But to answer the question, I guess for me, it's your competition with yourself, man. Like you have to always want to get better. Like you have to see your mistakes and be like, yo, like I'm gonna move myself forward because you're the only one who like is gonna go. Like you're the one that's in this journey. So you have to take those risks.
Would we even have hip hop? I mean, it started as like this
Right.
braggadocious, my crew's better than your crew, right?
Yeah.
Like what other genres started that way?
Well, I mean, you're ignoring battle rap too. I mean, battle rap is its own art, and then you've got like diss tracks. I mean, come on, there's so much like history and music through that. And dude, this goes back. Fucking composers used to have diss tracks.
Oh, yeah.
And shit.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Have you seen the letters that Mozart used to write?
Oh,
About, like,
the ones about the ones to his fucking
Dance
cousin.
battles. Yeah, more exactly.
Oh yeah.
But
also,
but
dude, what a question, Musar. That was incredible.
Yeah.
That was a great question.
Hey man, you got to be a good host somehow.
Let me add one more thing before, like, one more thing. So with that being said, since it's an egocentric kind of thing with hip hop, not all the time, but generally when we're making beats, you know, we want to make sure we have the dopest beat. Have you guys ever entered a Team Supreme beat cipher before?
I have. Yeah, I have.
Okay.
I have not.
Have you got your beats placed on there?
No, this was when I first started. Absolutely not.
Okay. So once you get a beat placed on there, it's like ever changes, and I've gotten about like 5 or 3 of them on there, just because like I was like freaking out. I didn't think I was gonna go, but that's the goal. Like even if you didn't make it on the cipher, you're gonna try it next time. You're gonna keep going to get better, and that's the goal: to be on a beat cipher, to be on something to say, look how much street cred I have, and that's all hip hop, man.
That's some of the only honest feedback people can get is like being in a competition and being told like, no, this person was better, like they did better than you. You know, I think we all like Nexy, Musar, and I we do feedback streams, you know, and we're all three pretty fucking honest. But we've all seen the feedback stream where it's like, oh yeah, that was good, you know, and like
I do it all the time. I'm not gonna lie. I stopped.
Dude, we all do it. It gets easy to just be like, all right, like I don't really have anything to say about this, so I'm just gonna move on. So like when you're in a competitive setting, it forces people to think about it more critically too. So you get more honest feedback that way for sure.
That's great.
Oh yeah.
There's no room for lying. That's what it is. Because you're up against thousands of people who are trying to do the same objective.
Hey, Musar, have you ever had that feeling though, where you heard something and you're like, "Damn, I wish I thought of that." I had that all the time.
All the time,
honestly,
dude.
yeah.
All the time.
Isn't that competitive nature though? Like that's not being a purist anymore.
That's fair. No, that's a fair point. I mean, I guess I will say my own competitiveness kicks in, not in saying like I wish I'd thought about that, but kind of like Keith is saying like I could have done that better. I could have done better. Yeah. That's my my own ego kind of like driving its way in there. Like I do admit I try to be, you know, oh, I'm gonna be just back, I'm gonna be the holier than thou person, but no, sometimes it's just like fuck you. Like, are you serious? You're gonna try and use that chord progression? Are you seriously gonna do that? Are you really gonna write that? Oh my god,
that's how you want to resolve that chord. Come on, dude. Yeah, like that's
what I'm talking about. That's what it's that self competition. Sorry, I agree.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
It's that self competition. It's that like
kind of leads to the bigger. That leads to the bigger question, like how much of a role does ego play, like for you guys?
Oh. It's
so easy to try to downplay it, but I think as like streamers and performers, it's so inherent that like, yeah, there's something in me that's like, nah, people want to pay attention to me for, you know.
Oh yeah, if you are an artist or an entertainer or a performer in any field, no matter what it is, streaming, music, acting, dance, whatever, there is some amount of selfishness and some amount of bravado in your mind that you're thinking anyone else gives a fuck what I'm saying, what I'm doing. Why the fuck would anyone care about anyone ever?
Yeah. I'm random internet guy, and people are coming in here like asking for my opinions on shit, and I'm sitting here thinking like, why the fuck do you care? Like, I manage a T-Mobile. Like, what the fuck? But they live and die off of my opinion. It's insane. They'll argue with me for 10 minutes about what I think about their fucking song. It's hilarious, dude.
Oh my god. Can I add on to that? Because oh my god. Okay, so every day is like an ego check for me. So anytime I get like feedback or something where I'm like, oh, like, you know, that track was really bad, I'm always like, why? Like, you know, and it's my ego trying to defend myself. But what to add on
I respect that. Real quick, I respect that. If you want to ask why, like if they didn't give you a reason why they don't like it, absolutely.
Yeah.
But when I give you my reason, don't come back at me with, well, your reason is invalid because XYZ. I hate that shit. You don't do that. I'm just saying.
It's something Musar would always do on his streams. Would just be like, "Yo, just listen to what I have to say first." And I'd be like, "Yes, thank you," because something we learned at Apple, right, was feedback, and that's everything. Like anything you get, you have to understand that where the feedback is coming from. Like people who give feedback, sometimes I'm not saying any of you guys are, but I see it a lot on streams, and they're like half jaded. They're very like, that track was great, but like you could do better. Like it's very half-assed. But I'm going off a tangent. But to add what we were saying about the ego, like I see it all the time. I'll be on Twitter, I'll tweet something, and I'll delete my tweet. But that's usually my ego trying to talk about something. But I'm just being real, you know, because my shit don't matter. Because my shit don't matter, bro. Yeah. But where it comes to it, when I'm trying to get on to what I'm trying to say is like, you have to kind of check yourself too. Like Evergreen was saying was like, you know, I just work at, you know, like a regular job. Like I work at Magic Mountain right now. I used to work at Apple, but you have to ego check yourself because even if you know all these people and you have a bunch of cosigns that you can make beats, you have to understand that you are doing it for you. And that's where, for me, the selfishness comes from. Like, I like this beat. Even if I get feedback on it, I don't give a fuck because, like, this is what I like. Like, and that's what it's going to be. And
that, I love that. That's the mindset that I try to instill in people. Ultimately, I want people to come into my stream and feel like they don't need feedback. You know what I mean? Like, you need to be able to think for your, because for me, I learned to make music before this shit was even, like, there weren't feedback streams when I first started FL Studio. You know, you just, the best you had was dubstepforum.com. You know, like, that was it. And you'd get like one reply of some guy just being like, nice. You know, and that was all you got. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Whittler knows what I'm talking about. I'm not even kidding. Like, that's all you had. So, like, I want people to come in and be like, okay, like, I got an outsider's perspective on my music. Now I can fucking move on. Not like, okay, let me send you something else that you'll like. Like, put it on your fucking refrigerator. Like,
I feel like, being on the topic of like ego and feedback too, I think a lot of times when I teach my students too, like I always tell them, like, you have to understand that like anything I tell you is subjective. Like anything I will tell you is just something I think will help you. Like you have to understand, like, anything I talk about is okay. Don't get mad at me. Don't take it personal. Like, I'm just helping you grow. And it's a hard thing that people have to accept sometimes. Like, you got to tell the truth. And if you can be honest, that's the best thing in the world.
I get really sad when, you know, and this is why I kind of stopped doing feedback, but like, you know, you give a piece of feedback like, hey man, I kind of wish this was happening in your track. An hour later, they come back and send you a bounce that has exactly that in it. And you're like, dude, like, don't take it literally. Like, you should be making your own decisions and like have your way with it.
Thank you for pointing that out, dude. When you like, sometimes it's something so little, like, man, I wish there was less reverb. And they're like, all right, dude, I sent you a version with less reverb. Like,
exactly.
I just listened to this song, my guy. Like, let's not. And that compulsion does confuse me a little. I could never in my life imagine myself doing that to a streamer. Like, yo, listen to my song again and then tell me, do you approve now that I've changed this one little thing? Like, that should not be where your head's at as a musician. You need to find that satisfaction in yourself and project that in your music, and you're gonna enjoy yourself a lot more.
To put a bow on this, I think to bring it like full circle, you know, Musar started this conversation with like, you know, just because I'm saying something, why should other people like? Are other people gonna? But that's my philosophy, man. Is if you like it, a million other people are gonna like it, and it doesn't fucking matter if I like it or if Damain likes it.
Yeah.
If I think it's cool, somebody somewhere is gonna think it's cool, and that's
and that's what I mean. That's what I mean. It sounds like I'm like coming for someone's neck, but it's not. Like, it's literally because I've done this shit for so long that like I've learned to trust my own ideas. Like, I've learned to just be like, yo, this is good. And it took a while. Man, a lot of that feedback coming from changing, you know, what you're talking about earlier, it comes from fear. So once you master that mindset of like, I'm just trying to get better, I'm just trying to learn how to get like good at this, like everything else just ebb and flows. And like, it's a lot better.
Anyone in here listening who submits stuff to feedback streams, keep in mind that like, we understand, you know, we're all producers too. You sit there and listen to your song 100 fucking times before you send it into us. You spend all this time thinking about what you want it to feel like and vibes and this and that. When you send it into us, we just got done listening to UK drill rap, Young Thug type beat number 3, dubstep anime remix. Like, we're in a totally like, that's our first impression. So don't live and die off of what a feedback streamer tells you. You know, you, like Nexy said, you need to make your own decisions first and foremost. You need take our advice, like take your fucking, you know, outsider's perspective all day, because that is valuable for sure. But it's not how you should base like your decisions for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys feel about this, but and this doesn't really apply to like scientific things or like mathematical things or things that like a lot of things that Musar covers that are like laws of nature type things. But I think so much of like our culture and society is somebody defining what cool is and disseminating that to other people. So you have to treat your music that way at a certain point. I know I do. Even if I don't believe it's the best song ever made, I act like it is. And then I find that people believe that. because they're more invested in the personality than the song. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
Oh yeah, isn't that the worst when someone sends you something? They're like, "You're probably not gonna like this," but
exactly.
Oh yeah.
It's
like,
it's
why do
humble-
I?
yeah.
Why
It's
would I
just
even
don't-
click it,
There's
dude?
a way to
Don't-
do it humbly too. Don't just come out and say I'm the best. Listen to that. You know, you got to be clever about it.
Yeah.
Again, back to
Yeah.
being clever, right? Anyway.
Yeah, but to answer your question, Nexy, I think it's like to kind of get where you're trying to say. I might be off of what I'm trying to say with what you're trying to say, but like I think it comes with just trusting yourself, like, and
Yes.
just really learning to be able to be like, this is not right in the book, but I'm trying to do something to ebb and flow my own creative process, my workflow.
I love that.
And
Confidence
yeah.
is so much of like the creative process is so much about confidence, and like
Mhm.
performance is so much to me. I'm not like Musar, you probably can tell, like I'm not a big music theory guy. I like to take a sample, just make something that sounds fucking good and write to it. You know what I mean? And just get the idea out, because it just, I don't know, people like get so wrapped up in the like technical shit where I just want to fucking make something that sounds good that I like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to impress like somebody else, just because then I'm confident in it. I don't give a fuck. Somebody came into my stream the other night and was like, Keith, why do you use so many samples? Well, like literally like trying to come at my neck for how I produce. And I was like, my literal response was like, fuck, it sounds good, bro. And just like kept doing what I was doing.
And-
Like, I don't care.
And you don't need a reason to explain your process. I think a lot of people forget that. You don't need a reason to explain how I do things. Like, and that's something I've learned from just working with Team Supreme. Like, I've seen people doing stuff the wrong way all the time. And I look at them and I'm just like, wow, like it doesn't matter. Like it really doesn't matter how you're working. Like it's just matters is, I think Djumba said it the best, like shout out to Djumba. How he works is, you know what? I like this and that's it. Like that's how it should be. And to me, I was like, yo, like
I can think of so many techniques that are like wrong by the book. I'll give you an example, right? You guys know Unknown. He's probably the most accomplished producer that I can see. As you know, maybe Whittler probably has some more success, but Unknown is world touring DJ, works with rappers, whatever. Okay, his signature technique is putting 100% wet reverb on leads with a 0.1 decay. Okay, and what it causes phasing issues. Okay, that is like by the book. Don't do that, and that is his fucking signature sound. So the point, you know, going just piggybacking off a Damain, it's like there are no fucking rules, man. I mean, there are.
No, there's not. Oh, I've been biting my tongue this whole time because I love this conversation and I want you all to keep going.
There's no rules,
but
and that's just one example.
My favorite part.
There's a million of those examples, dude. Like a million of them.
If it sounds good, it sounds good. Like Copper Queen kind of says, like have good taste. Follow your taste, right?
Yeah.
Like if you in your head are like, I like this, I want to follow this sound. Like I understand like what you were saying, Damain. Like I like it because I like it, but there is definitely value in understanding why you like something.
Damn.
But I think you can overdo that too. Like, okay, I like this because of the vibe it gives me, or I like it because of the fucking it's these chords with these instruments. Okay,
do that. There's these times that I've known you like over the course of 5 years now that you just impress me. Like you say something so clever and intellectual that I'm just like, damn, that guy's fucking smart, man.
I always am afraid that I'm just talking shit and someone's gonna be like, Keith, shut the fuck up. Quit trying to drop knowledge. Keith, shut the fuck up.
The last time you did it was with your Benny discussion. You were talking about Benny like 2 years ago. Anyway, sorry.
I agree with both of y'all. I think for me, when we come to this, is just like, at the end of the day, when you're with the artist and you're working with somebody, because I've been working with a lot of like co-producers and stuff, just not on my own stuff, but like on other projects. And a lot of times there is no time. Like there's no time to wait and be like, I need to EQ this correctly. Like, no, you got to keep the flow going because these guys are paying studio time. These guys are paying money on you. Because if you can't deliver, you're out within 5 minutes. And
Bro,
I've seen
that first time sitting down in a studio where there's 3 rappers standing behind you, and they're like, all right, bro, like cook something up. Like,
yep. It happened.
But the first time I did it, I fucking made it. I sold a beat. You know what I mean? Like you just gotta fucking do it. Just confidence. It's like what I was saying before. You don't. There's no rules to this shit. Do what comes naturally to you and fucking try your best to make that sound good. You know, that's how you're gonna get the most like authentic, real shit.
Yeah, and you have to get used to being with uncomfortable, like being uncomfortable in general. Like you have to get used to being in a situation where you're like, I don't know how to do this, but I'm gonna just figure it out. Like I'm gonna just do it, you know. And I see a lot of my students like I'll be like, all right, let's do a beat, and they're struggling on just one thing. I'm like, it took you 10 minutes, and the rapper would have left by now. Like you know, you need
On that
you
note,
know.
on
Yeah.
that note, actually, I want to bring up a slight topic shift, not to derail anyone, but I think it's connecting here. How do we feel? I mean, I know how we feel, but basically, I just want to talk about timer beats, like time production challenges. Because I know everyone
I was
here who
thinking that too,
streams now does timed beat challenges, sample flips, remix challenges, sound
Dude,
design
some
challenges,
of the best
everything.
music
Yo.
content. It's so fun.
Like,
Can I say? Oh,
go for it, please.
Okay,
Because you
so-
don't do them. You just participate. So what do you think?
I know. I just participate. I do some of them, but I
Okay.
participate in like. But with that being said, working like with samples and doing a lot of flips and stuff like that. What the key thing I always try to do is like, let's not make what they gave me. Like, let's not do exactly what they're giving me. Like,
I put it
if
like this in
hear-
chat the other night. Don't make fun of a clown. You
Yeah.
know, you're not. You
Yeah.
can't make fun of a clown. The clown's already funny. You're not gonna like. It's not. It's like making a trap remix of a trap song. You know, don't do that.
Yeah, like I always look at it like you do you. Like do Jay Dilla. Like do like what Jay Dilla would have done, where he took a sample and made it his own. Like that's the biggest thing in the world. Like that's how I got into production, was just flipping samples. Like I really was just kind of like, oh, let me flip this and see how I can do it myself. Because Kanye's gonna do it different. Travis Scott's gonna do it different. So let me do what Rejectdamain would do. Like and just kind of like put my own ebb and flow with it. Like put my own spin on it. But to answer your question, Musar, I feel like it's weird that people are doing the sample stuff. Like coming from some people have been using my samples lately. Like it's weird, but I'm glad people are doing it. I think it's great that people are doing the time challenges. I think people are doing a good thing, but I think when you do a time challenge, stick to the time. Like don't be like, oh, let me render it 5 minutes after the time challenge. Like just do it. Be strict with yourself. Like make it legit. Like make sure when you say 5 minutes, do the beat in 5 minutes. Like just do it. Because don't cheat yourself.
Musar always makes the point with his challenges that like it's really about being able to get an idea out. Like instead of getting in your own way, like you said, fucking with one sound for 10 minutes is counterproductive when you've already lost 3 ideas that you had before that were going to make the song what it was originally.
Yeah.
You know, you lost those because the reverb doesn't sound good on the snare. So that's something I think people really need to learn. I have people drop out mid challenge all the time for that, where they get stuck on one thing, and it's like that is the challenge, is to move the fuck on and finish it. Like that's the whole point of these. Like you have to be able to. Wid said it's about your workflow, and creativity is part of your workflow. You have to be clever with your workflow, and honestly learning how to fucking use loops and samples and make that shit sound good. It's not just a skill for those challenges. That carries over into real application. I do that all the time when I make beats. Throw a placeholder loop in there and fucking be like, okay, that's what I want it to sound like. You know what I mean? And go back and add to it.
All the time. Plus, like, if you're a producer who's like, I want to make all my own sounds, I want to do all my stuff myself, and you're not making your own sample library of content to pull from for these challenges and for your own fucking productions, what are you doing with your life? How much time are you wasting every single time you remake the same fucking kick 20 times in your lifetime?
Yes.
Do you really need to remake it?
Preset, dude. They make it so easy for you.
The shit out of me, dude.
You can browse it in the.
When I just like go off.
You're so right, dude.
Sometimes you just gotta say it.
Preach.
No, if you exactly. If you're one of those guys who's gonna pride yourself on your own custom sounds, why don't you have a fucking folder of them uploaded somewhere where people can pay for them? And you know what I mean? Like you should have that shit organized, labeled, ready to go.
Can I say something?
Go for it, please. It's an open forum.
Okay. So like Musar was saying on his tangent, he was like, "Preach, King." With that being said, my thing is, the point of a time challenge is to know your weakness, know what you're not good at. Like, bring that up. Like, you need to address those things. If I suck at chords, oh shit, maybe I should be good at my chords. And like it's supposed to be uncomfortable. Like, and I cannot emphasize that enough. Like you're supposed to know what you're not good at, because once you know you're not good at something, you can improve on that. And you can make your journey a lot quicker. You know what's right. There's a thing that Musar said a while ago, was like, there's a thing where you know what you're doing wrong, but you're not choosing to act on it. Like you said that one time in a stream, and I was like, bars, like straight up, like like and like you have to be aware of those things, because if you're not, it's gonna creep up on you. It's gonna creep up on your journey, and you don't have to address them, but if you know that, you can work around it. And that's the biggest thing about production, and you see it all the time.
Honestly, go ahead.
No, please go ahead.
I just
want
want
talking.
I just wanted to actually point out, like, one of the reasons why I've become so adamant about like these time production challenges. Did anyone catch Skrillex's live stream or any of the videos?
No.
The one he tried
my
to
God.
do?
What? He's
Yes.
on Twitch?
Yeah, I saw it.
He
Yeah.
tried. It was not great, but there were a couple videos. I saw this one video that was like in the studio with Skrillex, and it's like it made it out to be like this dude was there, but like he just literally clipped the live stream and like edited it a little bit. But there was a moment in that video where Skrillex is talking about how like in an 8-hour production session, he'll write 8 songs, 1 an hour, and then he'll go back
We gotta talk
later.
about that.
He'll go back later
Oh my
to
God.
actually pick the things about them
Okay.
that he thinks are good and write the best songs out of all of those sketches, rather than devoting all of his life to this song must be my best song. This song must be my baby. This is my opus. But
Dude,
you
not
have like
just
20
Skrillex.
more songs.
I swear on my life, that was the epiphany I had a week ago.
Yeah.
You know, all these new big DJs are coming on and producing. Every single one of them, from Mr. Carmack to Bauer to No Mana, they all do it, man. They're all spending about an hour on a song and go to the next one. Hour on a song, go to the next. And at the end of the week, they go, which ones are these are the best? I was like,
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah.
Every single one of them do it. Not a single one of them don't
Dude,
do it
I
that
remember
way.
Oh yeah.
one of the
Every
few
other-
times Dead Mouse came into my chat, it was during a feedback stream, and he goes, nah, man, fuck it, just cut it print. Like, that was his only advice. Just like, just move on, dude. Just fucking move on to the next one. Start a new project.
Yeah, and working with Team Supreme too, like you see that all the time. Like we'll be cutting beats like 20 beats, and we'll pick only 2 or 3 that'll work. You know, and like when I say working with Team Supreme, I mean like hanging out with them, like working, like being like, oh yeah, like what can I learn from you guys? Like that's what I mean by that. But you see it a lot, especially if you're a beat producer or you're someone who's like getting into production and you're trying to make an album. Like make 50 beats and then pick the best one that you like.
Yeah.
Is 9 out of 10 times you might make a trash beat, but don't be hard on yourself. Like it's
Nah,
okay. Like,
exactly. I've learned from so many, like, especially like hip hop producers who work in studios with people, like, you're gonna make trash beats like a lot.
Mhm.
You know, they're not all gonna be good. Kenny Beats does it. Fucking, they all do it, dude. He's done it on his live stream. Like, you'll spend an hour on a shitty beat and be like, okay, that beat sucked. New one. Like, let's make one that doesn't suck now. It happens sometimes. You're not gonna have a fucking what is it, a perfect batting average. No one does.
I actually
nobody does.
got to call out Widler again for the interview that I did
Shout
with
out
him.
Widler.
Shout out Wid. Where he said something that like really, really stuck with me, which was, and I'm paraphrasing, I didn't spend 6 years learning how to write music so that I could sit down and write a song. I sat down every single night for 6 years and tried to write music so that tonight I could sit down and write a song.
That's great.
Bars.
And that just like, it stuck with me.
It's true. No, I agree. That's something that's very important. Like, I think I was tweeting about this the other day, but like, I went through a bunch of my old sessions, and I was like, I'm gonna finish all these songs. Like, I'm gonna go through all my old stuff, like stop making beats for a day, like every day, and just finish all these beats that I have, right? And just like get through it. And I went through that whole process, and I was like, I got like a whole album worth of stuff here, but I did like 1,000 beats that were trash. You know? So, but that's important though. Like, it's important to practice what you're doing. And I agree
don't know
with
about you
myself.
guys, but the hardest thing for me is like adjusting my process. All right, my process right now is
Yeah.
not making 10 beats in a night. It's spending 3 weeks on a single song. and
Yeah.
stopping with something that you've been doing for so long and trusting this new process, and you know you're gonna suck for a little while. It's just, I don't know, man. It's almost impossible to me. I don't know how you guys deal with that.
No, I feel you. I think changing the process is like the most important thing to being like a versatile creative producer. It's so easy, especially like in the hip hop domain, to fall into like, all right, here's my fucking formula. You know what I'm saying? Like, start with this, right? Bring in the drums. You know what I mean? Like, you get into your way because it sounds good. You know, it sounds good consistently, and you get better at it. But you don't progress until you fucking switch that up, and they're like, all right, this time I'm starting totally different, or I'm gonna just do a totally different genre, or I'm downloading all new. I'm not using any of my old sounds. I'm downloading all new sounds and just using those. Like that. That's the kind of shit you got to do. Because dude, those are some of the best fucking projects. Or when you download 20 new fucking sample packs and you're like, I love those sessions. I'm just gonna use these. These are gonna be the whole song, you know. And you just make some buck wild ass shit like that. That's what you got to do, man. That's how you keep it fresh. And it's hard, dude. It's hard to keep up to date on new fucking sounds, new sample packs, and you got to keep listening to the new music, and like it's a whole fucking like it's a lifestyle pretty much at that point.
What helps me is like when I finish stuff, I always try to just I don't know if you guys are into meditation or whatever, but like that's like a big thing I always do is like I'm always just like, all right, I'm really stressed out about this, so I'm gonna just like vibe out a little quick, just like not think about it, especially with deadlines too, because like deadlines kill me, bro. Like I get so stressed out. Like even if I know it's not like 1,000 people are not gonna hear it, like I do it for myself because I know what I'm gonna do. But to answer your question, like to not divert, but like how I change my process from just beat maker to finishing stuff is just bouncing out stuff, like doing remixes of my own stuff, like doing like arrange it, like taking a 1 minute beat, copying it to the length I want it to be, and like just be an editor instead of like a person who, I gotta make, just edit, cut things out.
Thank you. Okay, this is something I wanted to talk about, man. It's like, I mean, you call it meditation. All the time I step away. Like I'm confident enough to step away at this point. You know what I mean? I don't have to. I don't feel like I need to create every day. When I get when the wave comes, I ride the shit out of it.
Same.
But there's like a difference between like, and I see Mr. Carmack do it. He'll be like, I wasn't streaming the last 2 days. I just needed to take a little break. There's a huge difference between just like meditating and quitting. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. You know what I mean? It's okay to chill the fuck out and take a break.
Yeah, like sometimes. Well, we were kind of talking earlier about like, dude, Musar especially, Musar more than any of us. We sit here for fucking hours a day and listen to music for hours straight for hours. No one does that. People listen to music for fucking 20 minutes. No, in their car. You know what I'm saying? That's their fucking music listening experience, and then their own shit. We sit here for fucking hours, and it's song after song after song, all kinds of different shit. You know what I mean? And then we're working on our own shit. Like, yeah, sometimes you need to just chill out and fucking watch Netflix for a little bit.
Fall in love with music.
We were just talking about
it so that you can fall in love with it again.
I say that all the time. Like, you take a break it's like smoking weed, dude. If anyone in here's a pie, dude, you fucking go and you smoke weed hard as fuck for 3 weeks and you're getting stoned every day, and then you run out of money or whatever, your plug runs out, and you fucking go 2 or 3 days without smoking, and you're like, oh man, I can't wait to get high again. You take that first fucking bong hit, dude, and you're lit as fuck. You fucking fall right back in love with Mary Jane, dude. You're like, oh, this is how I felt when I was fucking 16, behind the fucking church smoking. Like that's what it's about, man. Re-fall in love. I love that phrase. You got to re-fall in love with music.
I agree with you, Nexy. I think the whole process with finishing stuff is really understanding yourself as like what works for you. But like what's more important is understanding I need to render and release, render and let go, because a track is never done. Like there's some point where it's got to come off your computer.
Yeah, you're not. Like, it's not gonna be perfect, dude. I make music in big bursts. Like when I do my rap songs and shit, it's like, okay, I got the beat, and the second I got the inspiration to start writing it, from that second till it's like a fucking mastered MP3, I'm working on it. And that could be, 2 hours to fucking 6 hours, however crazy the song is. But in that chunk of time, I am tunnel vision, working on that only. I'll forget to drink water. Like I quit being addicted to cigarettes for 6 hours. You know what I'm saying? Like just fucking straight fucking mind
like
beam
tunnel vision,
on that.
man.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
And then that's it. That's the song. After that, it's
Mhm.
done. Like if I fucked it up in that time, it's fucked up. You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah,
it.
that's just how it is. And
Yeah.
yeah, and like I agree with you, man. Like I'm going back on my older stuff, and I'm like, yikes! But you need to say that. You need to be like, ooh,
Mhm.
like maybe I
Oh,
should have done that. But like, you need to. That helps you grow. Like when I get feedback, I understand what I'm doing wrong, but I'm giving
Dude,
feedback. I'm just
I
like,
got a good question for you guys. We've all been doing music for a while. Do you ever listen to your old shit? Like, of course, you listen to your old shit and you cringe at like the bad stuff. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, that's the easy take. But do you ever listen
Yeah.
to your old shit and get frustrated at how creative you used to be? Like,
oh my god, every time, every fucking time. Dude.
I'll listen to this shit and be like, dude, I was crazy. Like, because you had no idea what the fuck you were
Bro, I
doing,
went
dude.
crazy. Oh, bro.
You're like, I wish I could just. It's kind of like when you play a video game for so long, or read a book, and you're like, or watch like The Sopranos. I wish I could watch The Sopranos for the first time again. I wish I could produce in FL Studio, you know what I mean, for the first time again. I really do. But like with all the knowledge I have still somehow, like that would just be ideal, dude. Just like a new baby into the world, like because those ideas, that was just pure creative energy with no bad habits, no fucking like comparing to shit you've already done. Like, oh my god, that was the best era, dude. You didn't know the rules exactly, Woodler.
Yeah, I agree, man.
Honestly, not to like kind of like I hope this doesn't come off as high horse-ish. I really don't. I don't ever listen. I mean, I listen back to my old tracks. I smell my own farts all the time.
Yeah.
Like I'm super down with it. But I've never once been like, oh, that's so great. I think maybe it's because I'm like genre hopping so much, and I'm always just doing wacky shit. But I'm disgusted by my old stuff. I'm embarrassed by it.
I honestly feel the same way.
Yeah.
I will say, like, looking back at
we literally have like split takes. I was wondering because you guys didn't react at all. But
No.
half the chat was like,
No, I mean, it's like
because I've had that with other things, like skateboarding. When I used to skateboard and stuff like that, I've had it then, but not with music, surprisingly. But that just shows maybe I have a long way to go, right? Like, but go ahead, Nisar. Sorry.
No, I mean, you pretty much said what I was gonna say.
I just feel like I developed a lot of like, I don't want to say bad habits, but like you just get into ways of doing things. You know what I mean? It's like any other craft, and you look back and you're like, I would never do that today. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not some shit I would have thought of today because my process now doesn't leave room for that shit because it's so much more streamlined or so, you know what I mean? Whatever it is, like
sure.
Yeah. I think
I got caught up in some weird tangent on this sound 6 years ago and made something crazy. Whereas like now I would just be like, fuck this sound, delete it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's taste, man. I agree. Like I think it's taste, but I also think it's for me personally, it's the journey. It's when I look back, I get very nostalgic, like, oh, that was cute. I did that, but it's totally wrong. But like it was cool though for what the time was. But I love it because it shows me my journey. It shows me, wow, this is what I did, and I can make that beat if I wanted to, but I'm on some new shit. Like I'm gonna do this now.
I get that. I mean, honestly, like the way that I feel about this topic is similar to sort of how I think about Nexy's previous question about, you know, like dealing with getting stuck in your workflow and trying to get out of what's comfortable. And thank you, Johnny Lemons, for that huge raid. Thank you so much, Johnny. I didn't have the alerts on. Let me pull that on real quick and give you the raid alert.
The man.
Thank you so much, Johnny. How was your stream, bud? Thank you so much. Shout out to Johnny Lemons.
Another beer for Johnny. I still got my headphones on. I'll be right back though.
Anyways, we're just in the middle of the podcast. Thank you so much again, Johnny. I appreciate it.
How's your Rona, guys?
Oh boy. Oh goodness. But what I was gonna say before the raid was I have honestly never felt like I've been comfortable in my productions ever. For the 7 years I've been writing, my whole process has been about changing everything and putting myself in uncomfortable situations and trying to force myself to grow through those. I'm all about adaptability. Like my whole like turning point in life was like, you know, learning a lot about like evolution and biology and like realizing that survival of the fittest doesn't mean like, oh, I have the most muscles. It's I have the most adaptability to the most situations. Like, or I have the strongest adaptability to the most amount of situations. So like, my first release on my SoundCloud is like some Moombahton dubstep thing from like 5 years ago that sounds god awful.
awesome.
It's
No,
just
awesome.
so terrible. I was using cymatics presets,
I haven't heard it.
and
I'm gonna
it's
repost
so
it right
bad.
now.
Oh Jesus! And then
Dude,
like my next song
love
is liquid
that.
drum and bass,
Oh,
and then the next song after that is like trap, and then the next song after that is like bass house. Like I have never felt comfortable doing one style. I've never felt comfortable doing like one genre. I've never
I
felt
can kinda
comfortable
relate to
any like I literally
relate.
like I've changed my default template every 6 months. I have like almost 2 years worth of just like default templates, not including other templates. Literally just like updates to my like default way of working inside of Ableton. Not to mention all the times I've written in FL Studio, all the times I've written in Bitwig, all the times I've written in Reason, all the times I've written in like fucking
Can I ask
Logic.
something?
Yeah.
I don't know if this. Maybe we'll do it later, but I would love to know everyone's default template. That like actually tells me a lot about you. Let's not do it
Empty,
now,
bro.
but like
Empty.
I'll message
Like
you
my
guys.
answer's
Absolutely.
easy.
I'm down.
Empty,
But-
bro.
Sorry,
But
Musa.
before I
Go
do
ahead.
No,
Keep
that
going.
was
sorry.
no, but that's basically no. That was basically the climax. Was just
Yeah.
like I just change everything, and I just
Yeah.
I've also I guess there is one more thing, which
go
is what connects it with this, and why I look back at my old music and I don't look back on it with nostalgia, is because I find that like that's kind of removing yourself from that childlike sense of wonder and growth and experimentation and curiosity that made those creative ideas in the first place. If you let
I
yourself
kinda
grow up,
hate-
then you're not going to be able to make the music you made as a kid.
Yeah, I kind of hate that. Like I kind of hate that music is in genres, or not music, but like artists. Like, why can't I just be Keifergreen and just make whatever music I want? You know what I mean? Like, why do I have to be
Yeah.
a rap guy or like a, you know what I mean? It sucks.
Yeah.
Then
I would,
don't.
like, okay, today I'm D&B. Fuck off.
Then
Like,
do it.
you like drum and bass? Here it is. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I think I'm really struggling with this now, right? I think, like, I don't see myself ever making one style of music. So I've been asking myself recently, should I bail on a solo career and strictly try to produce albums for a lot of these talented Twitch vocalists? I still get
I
the
don't think
same
you have-
rewards out of it.
I don't think you have to do either or, dude. Like, they're not mutually exclusive at all.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I do. I produce for all kinds of other artists, and I release my own shit. I produce my own shit. Like, you just do whatever you fucking want, man. I don't think you have
Yeah.
to choose one or the other. I think you should, personally, I think you should do both.
I
Yeah.
want 1 billion Spotify plays, though. Like, that's the problem. You know what I mean?
I-
Like, I'm really
Well,
driven.
dude, think about like Skrillex, Diplo. They produce
Yeah.
for big name artists.
what's
and they
really
release their own
stopping you
shit.
is the question. Like,
Yeah.
what's stopping you from doing both is the question.
Yeah. I
Time,
think,
100% time,
Yeah,
and
well,
energy. You
fucking
know
join
me,
the
I'm
club, dude,
competitive,
yeah.
right? I put myself
yeah,
into
join the
a
club.
thing and I do it as best as I can. And I don't and splitting myself, I'm already having trouble with like the beat battle, for example. And that's like a poor example. That's like not even like whatever.
You got it. Yeah.
You
I mean,
understand what I'm saying.
Nexy,
You got you
Nexy,
got to
I-
work on your time scale. Like, when are you thinking about it? Like, how long are your deadlines for these? What are your goals, and how long does it take you to reach them? Like, you don't have to get 1 billion Spotify plays today. You can make it as a producer, and then you can go back and put out a whole bunch of solo shit now that you're like the Rick Rubin of fucking Twitch EDM.
Right.
Yeah, that's a
Nexy,
good point.
I think.
Yeah, dude.
I
Imagine if Scott Storch came out with like a big fucking beat tape right now, dude. It'd probably blow the
Yeah.
fuck up. You know what I'm saying? It would.
100%.
Nexy.
I'd listen to it.
I think what helps me with that is like, because I have a side project I haven't told anybody about, and I've been kind of posting it and nobody knows about it, not even my homies know. And literally, sometimes it's good to have an outlet, but also you have to understand that like you are the conductor. If you want to post a fucking liquid whatever and it's like future based whatever, fuck it. Like, just say fuck it, because at the end of the day, you're gonna be thinking about not putting that song out and it's gonna bug you. So what you really got to do is just say, I'm gonna make this for this project. I'm gonna make this for me, and I'll make this for the homies. Like, you got to just
go back to what we're
Yeah.
talking about a little bit before, where it's like confidence, right? Like,
Yeah.
if you fucking like that song that you made that's different than what everything you released before, fuck that.
yeah.
That's you. If they
Yeah.
like you, they're gonna fuck with you, and that's
Yeah.
it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Put that shit out.
Yeah, like, because at the end of the day, it's okay to produce for yourself sometimes. Like, that's totally fine. Like, I think a lot of people are like, oh, because I do dubstep, I should only do dubstep. Like, no, do that experimental shit. Like,
Yeah.
I want to hear that shit. Like, I want to hear you experiment because
Oh yeah,
the
no, dude. My
Yeah.
best beats are the ones where I lost all my viewers while producing it.
yeah,
Where I like, I hit export MP3 with 2 viewers because everyone was like, "This is ass," you know what I mean? But by the end, it's fire. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
and understand that people like it's always the worst beats that people pick when you're with a rapper.
Yes!
It's always the beats you hate. Every fucking time, dude. It
Bro,
could be
if
a
anyone
trash
remembers,
drop.
I sampled He-Man the other day, like the He-Man soundtrack, and I liked the beat. Like it was one of the only beats that I made that day that I was like, yeah, this is the one, you know. And everybody else like,
Yeah.
this fucking weird shit. Sold immediately, dude. Like the second I sent it out, dude, sold.
Yeah. And that's what I say. Like, people are gonna pick the beats you don't like, and be okay with not liking your stuff. Because I didn't like my stuff until now. Like, I hated everything I put out, but I somewhat enjoyed it. And then now I'm like, now I'm starting to be like, yo, you know what? Like, my shit kind of bumps though. Like, it's kind of good. But it's you get to a point in your life where you're like, you have to be comfortable with your mindset and how you think about things. And like your mindset is everything. And if you don't control what's up here, your workflow, your creativity, your time management is just gonna suck ass. Like, you have to take time for self-care. And I think that's also with what Evergreen is saying, like your confidence, but it really comes down to like
Evergreen.
Evergreen.
I'm with it.
Evergreen.
Sorry.
You know,
Finish it.
sorry, I totally butchered your name, bro.
You call me
But that
Ever?
being
What the fuck? Yo, that might be a new alias though.
I like it.
You
I
used to
kinda
do
like it.
Evergreen.
Yeah,
Anyways,
dude.
I was thinking Evergreen. Anyways, I lost track. But what I was saying was, it's just at the end of the day, your mental health is important. Like, how you feel about yourself is gonna affect your flow. And if you're kind of like unsure about yourself, like I always tell people, check yourself. Like, really be easy on yourself. Okay, like it's all good. But what I'm trying to say is, enjoy your shit. And if you don't, just be grateful for like what you've made. Be happy with what you have now.
Everybody in the
Yeah.
chat too. I think maybe this is telling me I just needed a little recognition, like a little moral
Yeah.
support more than I needed to actually make a decision. Because I already feel like way more
Yeah.
inspired. I'm like, oh yeah, fuck it, I'll just do both. So maybe I'll just get down on
It's
myself.
fear
Thank
that-
you.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it's your fear, man. This is talking to you.
I actually have a question
That's
that
deep. I need to
yeah.
meditate.
Definitely. I kind of have a question that connects with this. Do you find yourself first? Do you find yourself able to produce when you're feeling in a bad mood? And if you are, do you write sad music when you're sad, happy music when you're happy, or do you write sad music when you're happy, happy music when you're sad? Because I actually do
That's a
that.
good question.
I only write sad music when I'm feeling good. I can't write sad music if I'm feeling depressed. It just doesn't come out.
Wow.
I swear to God, if chat's calling me a simp, I'm gonna call you out, bro. Sorry. I swear to God.
See,
Yeah,
I
shut
only
the
find
fuck up,
myself
dude.
in situations where, like, if I'm in a bad mood and I don't know, like, if I'm in a bad mood, I'm not gonna produce. Like, I'm like a sim. You remember in The Sims where, like, if your character's like mood bars are too low and you ask him to do something like extra, he's like, no, like he's just too depressed. Like that's me, dude. But I like there are occasions where like I'm not in a great mood, but like somebody hits me up like, yo, I need a beat like this or whatever. And I'm like, I need the money, whatever. I'm gonna do it just to like do something. And it doesn't really matter what mood I'm in. I just have to make whatever they asked me. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm in a bad mood, I don't really ever like make my own shit though, like something for me. I just try to fucking channel like an excited energy at least, you know, and I want to be like pumped on what I'm making, like inspired at the least. But sometimes you're inspired by sad shit. Now that I think about it, sometimes I listen to some fucking Manchester Orchestra and I get a little thug tear going, dude. I'm like, fuck, man, I need to write a soulful banger, man. Fuck.
What about you,
going through
Nexy?
changes.
Yeah, I think for me, if I'm really that sad, I'm probably not on the computer, so I don't really have a good like sample pool to pull from here. But I do know that there have been times where I've been feeling anxious, and then like really aggressive stuff comes out. You know, I think all of like the mid-tempo stuff I was doing all came at a point where I was like riding my motorcycle every day and really just like, you know, gripping your teeth. What's the expression? Grinding your teeth type, like
Yeah.
Oh,
you know, that's the kind of lifestyle I was
White
living.
knuckle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
kind of like, and now my lifestyle, you know, I have no reasons to be upset, so I'm quite happy all the time, and maybe my music reflects that.
Mhm.
Yeah, something I'd have to put more thought into. I haven't seen like a one-to-one correlation, but you know, in retrospect, sure, I guess so. Yeah, you're right.
I hate to bring it back to this, but it kind of comes back to confidence. I feel like when I'm feeling confident, I'm gonna make some dope shit. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna work
Yeah.
on music. Like that's
Okay,
really
we
what
get
it is for
For
me.
me, dude, if I make every song that I've ever been proud of, I made when I have zero sleep, when I'm like so fucking tired that I'm about to pass out,
Yes.
when it's
Yes.
totally uninhibited, like
4
unhinhibited,
or
is
5
that
in the
the
morning, uninhibited. Yeah.
uninhibited, right? Like just fucking no fear. That's when
Slap
like
happy.
the dopest
Yup.
shit comes out, no matter what it is. If it's pop or EDM, it's like boom.
Bars.
I live for
Bars.
that like window.
Oh yeah.
Bars.
And it's like it's one of the reasons why you hear people like Dead Mouse talk about how like his best music making comes at 4 or 5 a.m. So the reasons
Yep.
why like I find myself usually producing right before I go to bed or first thing when I wake up in the morning. I'm like when I'm
Yep.
still so groggy I can't even really think, but I
Yeah,
have enough
when your brain is
wherewithal.
in that weird fucking meta era where
It's
you
when
don't
like
know what's going on.
it's where when the part of your brain that does all the actual thinking is still not really awake yet. So all of the muscle memory, all of the instinctual stuff, all the pattern recognition
Yeah,
shit
it's
is
like an
all
isolation
awake and
tank.
active.
Yeah, you're just focused. You're only one part of your brain is where. Yeah, it's like you're not feeling your fucking little canker sore that's been bothering you. You're not fucking you're just fucking work. What's going on in chat? Oh god.
I can't.
Oh no. Oh,
Okay,
I like
Seffering
mine.
is not English is his second language. Seffering is Norwegian. It is just a
I did it on
typo.
purpose. I'm
It's-
sorry. It's definitely
okay.
that was on purpose.
I
I
don't
think.
look. I'm just saying. I don't want to get fucking banned, dude. We have like 70.
Oh,
We have
that's
70
funny.
viewers right now. Holy shit.
Whoa, that's incredible.
Oh damn,
Hey,
chat's lit
shout
right
out to
now.
you.
Yeah,
man.
we're up at like 80
Shout out
earlier. That was
everybody.
wild, dude. Welcome.
Hey,
Thank you
everybody,
all so much.
shout
If you
out
all
to
want
the
to
fact
give me a
that we got a
follow,
music button.
if you could get some
We got a
follows,
music
that'd be
button.
awesome. Thank you all so much. I appreciate it. Welcome. Hi. Oh
You
man.
guys notice that up top? If you look up top on Twitch, it says music up there, right up top, dude. We got our own.
I know
fucking-
Musar was stoked about that.
I'm stoked.
Dude, I'm serious. Well, can we talk about this? Like I've been trying to say for like the past 6 months, music is the future of Twitch. Music
Yep.
and in my opinion, education are the two big things that make Twitch a completely different platform from YouTube, from Instagram, from Facebook. Twitch can do live streaming entertainment better than any platform.
Yep. You can literally interact live, fucking full time, real time interaction with the
Entertainment,
person that you want.
education. Just like the market is like, I hate to talk about it in business aspects, but like really the market is wide open. Look at how many people have started streaming music since this thing started. I mean, it sucks. The situation's awful. It's horrifying. But like, if I was to try and find any sort of silver lining here,
There is.
like,
We made out pretty well. Yeah.
no, I mean, not even that. Like, I just think that the future of streaming has a place for us. And I find that encouraging. I find that really encouraging.
It
I
kind
mean,
of drives me nuts. I understand why. I don't blame Twitch for this, but and I was talking to Whittler about this yesterday. It drives me nuts that he hasn't been front paged yet.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's just like, what the fuck are you doing, Twitch? Like,
Yeah.
sure, you guys are excited that all these big superstars are coming, but Wid's a fucking superstar too, man, and he's been doing this consistently. And you too,
Oh,
Musar, but I'm just saying, like, Wid's a
No.
really good example.
Wit has much more renown.
Put
He's-
respect on the homie's name.
Yeah. And I
Wid.
just hope that after this little fucking tidal wave of viewership, and you know that they start to look at folks like Whittler and Musar and Keifer to
Yeah.
be
And you.
front paged.
Come on.
Okay.
No, come on, dude.
I think-
Dude, honestly, no, I think that like we all I'm proud to say like we all make content that I think deserves to be on the front page for sure.
Yeah.
Like quality
Yeah,
shit
man.
that like when those few blessed I love you random people who aren't like in the community just wandering
Yeah.
in,
Yeah.
And
And
they'll-
they speak up too. I'm
they
like,
say-
dude.
they're like, dude, this is awesome. I didn't know this. You know what I mean? Like, those are the motherfuckers that we need to pick up on. Like, okay, I always talk about this. It's especially relevant now, like with the new big music streamers. there's that there is a little bit of trickle down economics happening on Twitch. Like there's new accounts being
100%.
made and people being on our website, raids and there's all these discoverability mechanics, right? So like, do you remember when Ninja blew up? I saw people literally who made their accounts to watch Ninja who ended up on my stream. You know what I'm saying? So
That's cool.
This is like this music tab thing is huge. I think I really think it's a big fucking deal.
I think it's great for creators in general. Like, I mean, I'm late to the Twitch party, but being on Musar streams before, like, just being on there was just so fucking cool, man. Like, just seeing all the people in chat go crazy because you said something, I was like, yo, that's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy, though. But for me, it just doesn't work. Like, for me, I like Twitch. It's great. I've tried it out myself personally. I'm still trying. I'm still in the beginning. I might like it, like, next year or whatever. I might change my mind. But, like, for me, I think it's great for the community, especially for music producers and the underdogs, essentially, like, because you're getting what you're respected, like you're getting what you're doing, and people are finding you. It's like when Audius came out, like people were like listening because they wanted to hear some new shit. They wanted to hear the dopest stuff. And there's more time to release music right now because people have their eyes open. And I just wanted to say, like, it's great. Like, I think it's great that the Rona just made it possible for you guys to be on the come up.
I actually,
I think oh, go ahead. Moose.
No, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
I think there's some double-edged sword to it, just to play a little devil's advocate. I think that, part of
go for it.
What I'm stoked about when it comes to Twitch is definitely the conversation aspect, right? I've always said if your chat is going, that's a successful stream, right? That's what's going to generate viewers. Doesn't matter how good your content is up to a certain point. Now, if we see a huge influx of, like, let's just say plebs, right, who come in and dilute that chat experience, then that's something I'd rather not have the viewers at all. You know what I mean? I'd rather have a small, passionate, really engaged chat room going than a million viewers and just a wall of text. That's my personal opinion, but we'll see how it ends up, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that. I think there were some people talking in chat about that same thing. I think Strafe made a good point about that same issue where it's like it starts to feel way less personal. I think that, in those moments, Discord becomes much more valuable. I think a lot of us have experienced that our Discords are not super active. Like, I've put in a lot of work to try and make mine active, and it's had middling success, I'll admit. It's been great to have people chat more on it, and I can see on your Discords there have been a little bit more activity, which is awesome. But
can I say something real quick, Musar?
Yeah.
About Discord. My Discord has been more active lately. I think everyone's has a little bit, but Musar, love your Discord. Just gonna be real with you. You got too many fucking channels, dude. There's too many fucking channels. That is it. Like, just consolidate it down, and it's gonna feel a lot more satisfying.
I know I'm so bad at bloat.
I want to start Discord, dude. What the fuck is
I was about to say, look at Widler's Discord, okay? Let's not.
I love you, man.
Y'all just throwing shots.
Look, it's true. No, it's true.
The podcast discussion channel, I felt like I was lost in the fucking woods, bro.
It's true. It's true. You can also control K and search for the room, by the way.
Okay, see, thank you. I didn't know that. He got me.
Command K on Mac, but.
Learn the commands.
I'm just saying hotkeys, my G. But no, I mean, I think that's a fair point. Like, that definitely is a thing. I think that, like, overall, for some people, it is a loss of, in some sense, a family, because that's what Twitch can sometimes feel like, especially when you're in these smaller, under 100 viewer communities. Like, I know Widler was talking about, like, how after all of these DJ sets, he was getting like 1,000, 2,000 viewers, which is amazing, insane, great. Yes, please do so. I'll put it on screen right now. Please plug your Camel Crusher. It's too late. We're already in on it. We're already there. We're already there. So please go ahead. I already don't care what I was saying. Go ahead.
Right before the stream, I made a Camel Crusher skin, so you guys can go download it in the chat.
Yo, why are you gonna shamelessly plug right now?
I was going through Discord. Since we're on Discord, I was like looking at everyone's Discord, and I saw the screenshot. I was like, oh yeah, I gotta plug it. I didn't expect you to react right away. I'm sorry, Moose.
Nope, it will always happen that way. No, please do that. I like that content. But no, I mean, that's it.
I love this community so much. Like, just on some like general love for this community, I think a lot of people might be able to relate to this and might be a reason they're on Twitch, but like, especially me, I grew up in rural Indiana. Like, I literally grew up on a fucking farm. And so, like, people like me aren't super like, there's just not a lot of like-minded people around me. And I never really felt like I fit in. Like, I
Yeah.
just never felt like I fit in anywhere. And I have my small circle of friends that I do fit in with in real life. But dude, Twitch, like, I just feel like I don't know. I feel like this is what I was meant to do. This is where I'm supposed to be. You know what I mean? And the people that come in and hang out, I can relate to like that feeling of just like, man, fuck this shit. Like, I'm going online to find people who fuck with me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I get it, dude. Because I'm a Twitch viewer first and foremost. Like, I bleed purple. I really fucking love this website. I was watching Twitch way before I was fucking streaming like speed runners and random, you know, like, this is my fucking spot. So just shout out everybody in chat. Shout out Musar for putting this on and everybody. Just a
dude,
quick little
honestly.
spot for everybody.
I agree with you, man. I think the biggest thing is community with any production community. Like, it's everything. Like, no matter what. Like, I think for me personally, I kind of align with you, man. Like, with the whole community aspect, I think you have to find your own tribe, man. Like, you got to find the people that do what you do. Because if you don't, you're gonna not finish your song next week, or you're not gonna do that. Like, you have to find people who are accountable of you, and you have to find people who do this stuff. You know.
Damain, I didn't mean to cut you off. My bad, man.
Oh no, you're good. You're good.
I'm just awkward. There's
I'm
two
used to
things
awkward.
I think that are important to me, right? Like, I find that, you know, like, I worked in Manhattan and I was a small fish. Okay, I moved to Oakland, California. I work in Silicon Valley. I'm a bigger fish in a small pond. On Twitch, I'm a big fish in a small pond, right? I don't mind that. I get the same satisfaction I would get there as if I were, you know. I don't want to, like, all right. So I used to work on TV, right? I used to have a show on ESPN, right? I get the same satisfaction I do now on Twitch with 30 viewers that I used to get literally filming out of ESPN studio. And I don't work hard.
It's crazy you say that because like before Twitch, I think you guys know this. I was like a dedicated rapper. Like, I was doing rap shows once, twice a week.
Wow.
I've shared the stage with fucking Afro Man with like big, like that dude got nominated for a Grammy. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I played with that dude and met him and like literally went on right before him. And I got that same fucking rush when fucking Whittler rated me with 150 viewers the other night.
Now here's the second part though. There was a second part of my thing. Sorry, I'm so fucking awkward, Keith. My bad, man.
Dude, no, you're good.
I don't know when to talk. It's so hard. These online podcasts.
Just interrupt. Just interrupt.
In a social setting, I could like time it right and be like, all right, now it's my turn to talk. But like over Zoom, I don't fucking know, man. I just keep cutting y'all off. My bad. All right. Second part. I feel like an asshole. The second part is like, you know, you look at like Nadeshot and T Martin and Jericho, like those are all guys who and Gold Glove. Those are all guys who came up together, but they started in a small community, like literally, and pardon the terrible phrasing, but circle jerking each other to the top, right? And I think that you're going to see that with a lot of the folks in our little community is, you know, as Cryo starts to gain notoriety, he's going to bring Carter up with him. And this is how folks like Ninja literally start.
Yeah.
Small little communities, circle jerking them into the spotlight.
See,
so
yeah, people bitch about favoritism and stuff, but it's like, yeah, that's how it works, dude. If you're likable and you're like, that's what makes a good Twitch streamer. So like, if you're fucking in it, you're in it. Like, and Nexy and Carter and you guys like started watching me early on, you know what I mean? And kind of put me on to what it was about. And, you know, we just went from there because it was fucking, it's just like a natural progression, but also like you got to put in the work first and foremost. But
it's like the mentality Team Supreme has. Like, they are all just a big community of producers and they all came up about the same time. And, you know, you look at Carmack, look at like Great Dane, look at all these people are doing their own thing, but they always are going to be bros. They're always going to be people back to the, we're doing this like we did it like 10 years ago. Like, we have that form of a community because we trust each other. We're a group. And if we come up, I'm going to help my homie come up too. Like, it's just that there's no competition, but we are in competition though. Cause you know, we're trying to be better than each other.
Yeah, that's what's weird. That's what's weird about doing the beat battle is like, I'm listening to all these fucking producers all day who like, I love, you know what I mean? They're dope. And like, at this point, my favoritism goes as far as like do I like your music or not? You know what I mean? And that's kind of a cool standard to have. But like, I kind of feel bad making these guys compete. They're all fucking good guys and they all make dope music. So I want to start paying them all. I really do.
Never mind.
What were you gonna say, Nexy? What?
I was gonna be a smart ass and talk shit about my.
Do it. No, you already have to. You already have to. Come on.
Defend himself.
Too bad. Start. Get the clips ready, y'all. Clip chimps ready. Clip chimps ready.
Here to defend themselves. I don't say nothing. That's a rule of mine.
That's fair. Respect.
If he was in the chat, I would totally go off, but he's not here. If he's here,
as
let me know.
As the Vince McMahon of this organization, I give great respect for that. That's an honorable move, Nexy.
I mean,
but yeah.
Thank you.
I do wanna say, like, do we think that there is such a thing, kind of on this subject, of a self-made artist or a self-made anything? No. Like, do any of us feel like we have actually gotten to where we are with no help? Because like I was joking in chat earlier, like, one in chat if you feel like Twitch has made you a better musician. And like without a doubt,
big ol' one.
Without a doubt, I would not be anywhere near as good as I am today. Like, I've grown more in the past year than I did in 4 years at college.
100%, bro. Like,
studying music.
Twitch is like a fraction of my music career, and yeah, the amount of growth there is like as much as the entire thing, easily.
I think being a self-made artist is taking risks and knowing when to ask for help. Like, those are the biggest two things for me. Like, knowing when you say, I don't know how to do this, can someone help me? Like, that's when you know
people are so fucking lucky now, though, dude. When you hit that point, you can literally just Google it. You can literally just Google 90% of the fucking roadblocks you run into producing a song, and you will find it. Like, how do I make this sound? Oh, boom. How do I make my mix sound like this? Boom. There's a fucking video in 10 minutes explaining exactly how to do it. Like, it's insane.
I remember going to people's studios and bugging them how to like EQ a snare.
Bro, I know. I remember literally like posting on fucking Dubstep forum and like trying to figure out with my buddies like hours in FL Studio.
Yeah.
Like just fucking different types of fucking like effects chains and shit until it sounds good.
Yeah, I used to have to make the trip from, because I live in Santa Cruz, California, to LA to like actually like figure out how to make this stuff work before Twitch, before anything else. Like, I used to bug people, and people know I used to bug them because I'd be like, yo, I need you to do this. And like you said, it's an advantage, but I think it's that want to be better. It's that want to continuously learn. It's that want to, I'm going to look past my ego and ask for help. Like, I think that's a big thing.
You're right. Nexy, you raised a good question in chat. Like, is there even such a thing as a self-made
that's why I'm
artist?
confused. Like, I'm like really digging deep. I'm like, I'm trying to answer the question myself, like in my head, but I don't know.
We touched on this on my stream the other day. Like, everybody literally just copy shit. Like, that's why genres exist.
We live in the internet age. There's no such thing as self-made anything anymore, like at all.
Artist derivative.
Oh yeah, I don't think there's ever been anything quote unquote original in like the history of time.
No, like in recorded history of like recorded music and shit. No, hell no. It's all based on something.
I think Diplo tweeted something like, "Oh, like something about like sound design. Oh, if I didn't make that snare or whatever." But he tweeted the same thing, kind of like saying in the same vein, like, it really doesn't matter. It matters that you're like doing it is what matters.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Putting that energy out, dude. Like it's like a collective energy. Like eventually it's gonna progress somewhere. It's like a evolutionary thing. Like shit just mutates. You put enough fucking numbers into that and eventually something's gonna mutate into this different version. It's still based on what it mutated from, you know what I mean? But it's a new version of it. Like that's how pretty much every genre has occurred since like the dawn of time. It's just kept going. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, and I agree. Like I think when I teach students, especially, like I always tell them, like, what are your influence? Like, who influences you? And a lot of them, I'll talk to them and I'll be like, okay, like I was talking to my one student and he was really having a hard time trying to like finish a track because he was like, he wanted to sound like a certain artist. And I told him, I was like, what do you like about that artist that you want to sound like or emulate? And he was like, I just like the vibe and stuff. And I'm like, and I told him how to do it, right? And he was just like, so like, why can't I make it that way? Because I'm like, because you have your own decisions. You aren't that person. You aren't making the same creative decisions they would. If you're trying to be that person, learn from that person, like understand why they make those decisions, and then see if it aligns with your own creative decisions.
That is such good advice, man. That is such good advice. Like knowing why an instrument or a note or whatever, a certain musical element is in a song is like one of the most important things you can learn as a musician. Like, what purpose does this serve in the greater scheme of the vibe or whatever?
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
something I learned from my day job too. Like obviously, not to shit on the conversation. Like, the more you steal, honestly, the better your stuff's gonna sound until it's committed to memory, and you don't have to show people you're stealing anymore. But something that I used in my professional career, you know, my day job is doing video related work. Instead of looking at my competitors and going, what's my competitor doing? How do I do better than that? I always try to look at their inspiration, right? So I apply that to music now. So I want to be like Muramasa, right? He's my favorite artist right now. Rather than copying Muramasa's sound, I go and find interviews with him and you know, studio time, and I listen to the stuff he's referencing. He's going like, oh, I heard this. That's what I'm looking at, and I'm like, okay, and then creating that derivative, right? That's kind of been my new mojo.
Yeah, don't study your idols, study your idols.
You need
to know that from somebody too. Like, that's a stolen concept.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, somebody said in chat earlier to me today, to have like a full appreciation of hip hop, you have to have an appreciation of R&B and soul music as well, because so much of those instrumentals are based on those samples. And if you don't understand the appeal of those songs originally, then you're lost in the sauce. Like that's where the whole inspiration for the sound came from, you know, was those samples. So you need to get introduced and fucking start blues. Like, that's the music you need to be listening to and understand those vibes to make that kind of shit.
You need to put in your research. I find like you need to understand where your artists like had their influences, but also understand the why and know why they even like that. Like, you have to understand, I always say it, but understanding why you do things can help you move forward. Like, understanding why you need to resolve something is way more important than resolving it itself. Like, you know, you need to understand the result. Yeah.
I fucking hate plugins that like have a magic knob. Like,
oh my god, kind of shit. At least tell me what it does.
I hate tutorials that are like, spin this knob, and I'm just like, what is it doing? I tried to install Plugin Doctor today. I couldn't get it working, by the way. Does anyone use Plugin Doctor?
No.
Plugin Doctor, what's that?
Plugin Doctor just basically prints out a before and after spectrum, I guess. So you can kind of like get into the nitty gritty of what a plugin is doing.
Oh, I have this thing. Yeah, no, I have this thing. What was the issue you were having with it? Yeah, it's really useful.
No, because I'm just fucking sick of magic knobs, man.
I like to reverse engineer. I like to reverse engineer my problems. So yeah. I just come from that.
I have a kind of a weird tangential question. This conversation kind of pulled me into this, just talking about like, you know, influences and stuff like that. What is the weirdest song or album or artist you've listened to since the quarantine got started?
Oh, I got one.
You are such a good host, man.
I got one that I have to look up because I literally can't even pronounce it because it's in a
Don't worry, I have mine already.
While he that looks it up, you just had 3 of your guests at the same time go whoa to a question.
Dude, you're killing it. Good job,
that's
man.
insane.
This is the best.
I would listen to a whole podcast of you asking questions, no answers, dude.
Oh goodness, just
asking like
questions with Musar on screen. This is my submission. This is the Shags. So it is a bunch of sisters who their grandmother believed that it would be their destiny to become famous musicians. So with zero training, their father paid to have an album recorded and produced for them.
I've heard of this story. What was the name?
The Shags. The Shags with 2 G's. I'm going to type it in chat.
Is it 2 sisters? It's sisters, you said.
Yeah, 3 sisters.
3 sisters.
I'm literally looking up my Spotify playlist to see what's the weirdest.
All right. Well, if you guys want to mute and listen to the stream for a second, I can play a little bit of the first song so you can get an experience.
A little bit of all of them?
No, we're just listening to this one.
I'll play mine if you want.
Yeah, I would actually would love to do that. Yeah, so send me your submissions. Just send it to me on Discord in the chat.
Okay, let me open Discord real quick.
Yeah, so let's see. Is there any way that I can play? I guess I can actually play it off of YouTube here. So let me load it up, and we will listen to a little bit of it on the Whereby call. All right.
I'll post it on the chat. Hold on.
Yeah, post it in the not the whereby chat. Post it in Discord. Post it in Discord.
Word. I'll post it in
All right,
discussion.
I'm muting my mic while you play it.
All right. So
Wait.
let me grab the link, and I think it should
Let's
automatically
put it in the
mute.
podcast discussion channel.
Yes, please. That'd be great.
Yes.
So here we go.
Oh, the rich people want what the poor people's got, and the poor people want what the rich people's got, and the skinny people want what the fat people's got, and the fat people want what the skinny people's got. You can never please anybody in this world. The short people want what the tall people's got, and the tall people want what the short people's got. The little kids want what the big kids got, and the big kids.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, I can't do any more of that.
I kind of see the appeal though.
No, it's great. It's wonderful, but it's just I guess it's for me, this is a situation where, like, if this record was played on like actual speakers, I'd love it, but my right ear is dying.
Yeah, that was the only thing I didn't
ridiculous.
like was the drum pan.
But like for me, that gets to be like mind grain inducing. But it's quite an experience.
Lyrics, but like the lyrics combined with like the untrained quality of it gives it this like folksy authenticity. Like it has this character to it where it's like a peek into another world, you know? It's just weird.
Yeah, I love it.
I felt like I was in the 60s mixed with like some weird garage punk rock drums from the 90s. I loved it.
I felt like I was on some weird like compound where like the family doesn't let the kids leave, you know what I mean? And they follow some weird religion.
I love that. I love that, dude.
I felt like I was at church, dog.
Yeah, exactly. Like some very churchy, like, but weird churchy vibes. I fuck with it.
Yeah, like bad Catholic vibes.
Like before punk was punk.
The song that I sent is also kind of in a punk vein. It's some Russian song that I found in a Twitter meme that I like immediately had to fucking listen to. It's written, the lyrics were written by some Russian poet named Boris Rishi, who he killed himself like when he was like 26. He killed himself and then posthumously like received a bunch of awards. And there was like apparently some controversy about like maybe he killed himself to get recognition or some shit because his poems were like really dark and shit. And he had like substance abuse problems. But this song is some like really, I don't know. It's like a song you feel like you heard in a dream. It's like you hear it and you're like, I've heard this before, but you know you haven't heard it before. It's a good song, dude.
All right,
very catchy.
I'm gonna give it at least as long as we got that last one going.
All right, for sure.
I look over and Damain is like doing the robot.
It's a banger, dude. It's such a vibe.
This is
Like
really
this is
fantastic.
it's been really like overcast and rainy, and like just driving around listening to this just puts me in this fucking mood where it's like, yeah, I'm fucking living some weird painting or some shit. I don't know. It's awesome.
That was rad.
Yeah, the
Literally-
mixing is so like lo-fi and low quality. It's more about like just the emotion that it conveys rather than the actual quality of the song, you know.
That's my
I love
submission.
that track.
So this was sent to me last night on my stream. If you were in my stream, we all watched the entire video together. And it captures the power of visuals, right? The track, in my opinion, is mediocre. But once you pair it with the visuals, it becomes something unforgettable. So yeah, that's probably the weirdest thing I've listened to.
Word.
The action, I mean, there's a long build up. The action really, like in terms of visuals, the action starts about halfway through. So
It had to be me, keeping up the blame, turning out to be someone who's trapped inside your hands. It had to be me, falling down again, falling down on my knees. Hold on, let's start this all again. For the rest of my days, I'll be calling your name. For the rest of my days, I'll be feeling the same. For the rest of my days, I'll be calling your name. For the rest
honestly,
of my
feel free to jump to the middle because
I'll be
that's when it starts to get nutty.
for the rest of my days.
Oh no worries.
Let it ride, brother. Let it ride.
Let's go!
That's a 3D model for everybody wondering. That's not a person dancing at all.
Nah, that's me, bro.
It had to be me, trying hard to change in order to be someone you'd finally love again. It had to be me,
I'm in a fucking
setting
trance.
up a plan,
I can't take my eyes off of it.
I love this.
Hold on, let's start this all again. For the rest of my days, I'll be calling your name. For the rest of my days, I'll be feeling the same. For the rest of my days, I'll be calling your name. For the rest of my days, I'll be feeling the same. For the rest of my days, your name. The rest of my days, calling your name. The rest of my days, your name. The rest of my days, calling your name. The rest of my
This man has moved my want.
Nexy, I love this, man. Thank you for showing me this.
Somebody showed it to me, man, and I was
Thank you
like,
for blessing me.
it made me realize like, not every song has to be knock your socks off, but if you have a message, right? If you have like a powerful,
Yes, it's a vibe, bro.
Yeah.
It's a vibe.
It's a vibe!
and really incredible song structure. Like song structure sticks out to me.
Damn straight, bro.
Chef kiss, bro.
Dude, I love this for so many reasons, Nexy.
Right?
That was awesome.
Did anyone
Yeah.
else notice he kind of looks like a fat Drake, by the way?
Oh,
I
yeah.
couldn't unsee
Yeah,
it.
no, that's what Whittler said. Chunky Drake. Yeah.
Drake's like,
Bro, that reminds me of like, I don't know, whatever happened to like dance music, like Daft Punk and Justice and shit, where it was just
the
catchy.
The French, they call it French something.
French house, yeah.
yeah,
Funk
it was just catchy, man.
Oh,
it wasn't
sample
about
stuff.
the fucking like oh, build up in the drop. You know what I mean? It was just a fucking catchy ass
Justice
song.
put out
dude.
an album like 2 years ago, but I don't think it did very well. And
No.
then guys like Data Life tried to like do more, and nobody listens to Data. Like they
Yeah.
literally created songs that got like 2 views. And Data Life's a different genre, I know, but I'm just saying there's a whole
No,
era of folk.
I remember my like dubstep crew. We remixed a Data Live song like back in the day, and it was like, whoa, Data Live, like that was a big deal.
Yeah.
Damn, I remember Data Life. I was in high school.
Go look at their SoundCloud, man. They still post music, and it gets like 100 views. I'm like, whoa. I think one of the dudes died of cancer or something.
No, he got cancer and like he recovered, but like it completely changed the way that he like did music. And now he actually has this like pretty cool like side project that's like basically
I thought you were gonna
all
say he
drumless.
like found Jesus and became
No,
like,
it's called like a like Night Gestalt or something like that.
He pulled up what a Rusko did. Like Rusko came back like full flesh.
Only
like,
and
in a
that's the
different
thing.
way.
Only like 6,000 listeners a month for the guy who used to be part of Dada Life. So it's like, you know, it's weird. Music goes in weird directions. Like I don't know. I think music's gonna be really different at the end of this quarantine. I think this whole pandemic is gonna change the way that we think about music. Honestly.
Can we get over the fact that music was weird in general from the start? Like I think people like
we were already in a weird transition.
Yeah. Like I'm saying in general, like in the beginning of like time, music has always been weird. It's just weird. But
it's just sound waves, man. We just decided it had a good pattern. Speaking of good patterns, tell us a little bit about this song we're about to listen to, RDM.
Oh my god, Sophie, Yas Queen. Anyways, so this track I was listening to earlier, and I didn't hear the remix album of
my vape just hit.
You just drop your vape on your fucking nuts? What happened?
Oh no, are you okay, dude?
Oh, you okay, dude?
Oh,
Look at him, he's fucked up.
Yo, are you good, bro? Are you okay, dude?
Yo, he's fucked up, dog.
Oh no.
My God, he's dead. Look at my witness, he's broken in half.
Oh no.
Sorry, dude.
F's in chat, okay?
Are you good? I want to make sure you're good, dude.
Dude, it hit me square in the balls, dude. Like direct hit, bro.
Both of them?
Definitely
my dick hurts.
Sympathy aches, by the way. Yeah, sympathy aches.
I'm sorry for screaming into the mic. I mean, that was a visceral reaction. That was a real reaction, man. Sorry, I'm so sorry, dude.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Man down.
Man down. That's more important than my bro's good, dude. That's all that's good.
Thanks, guys. Sorry.
All right, let's listen to this song on Nexy Remembers
check
His
out
Mouth.
some-
That
All
shit
I gotta
hurt.
say, all I gotta say is Sophie is just an incredible producer, and she is crazy. And when I heard this remix, I was just like, my God, this is like some weird shit that I just enjoy. I just love the textures of it, and it's just weird.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Dude, I feel like I'm in Megatron's colon.
This is me after sex. Gotta love the long intros, dogs.
This is like headphone candy.
Exactly.
100%. This is like definitely made on headphones.
This is deep.
So worth the payoff, though.
seeing little Smurfs and gnomes dance around my apartment and shit right now, bro.
This is what I'm talking about, bro.
This is like the most minimal of techno, dude.
I know, right?
There's like 6
Sound
tracks,
effects and bass and kick, yeah.
8 million hours of automation.
It's just insane.
Alright, I'm gonna pause it after this just because I'm sure we're gonna get content ID'd with this 100%.
Yeah, I know. But that one just makes me feel like voguing at Nordstrom Rack,
Oh,
dog.
100%. That shit is like.
If you've ever watched my stream, you know I normally don't like music like that. It might be the 3 beers, but that was fucking dope, man. That was some crazy shit.
My heart is pounding for real.
Yeah.
I love that kind of music, dude. Just fucking knocking techno. Like, all you need is a kick, a reverb, and a bunch of sound design, and you got yourself a banging track, dude. That's my shit.
It's amazing. Sophie cannot do any wrong. Like, I'm just like, yes. Yes.
Oh yeah. I mean, these are all pretty weird songs in their own right. I think it's pretty interesting just because like everyone has a very different perspective on like how eclectic they are in terms of like what they see as like weird, what they see as approachable. Because it's like obviously we all pick things we liked, we all picked things that we were into, but there was like something that like was unsettling or off or like captivating about each track.
I'm kind of, I don't know if this was on the podcast or before, but I was talking to Damain about this. Like, you have to be interested to be interesting first. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to be someone who makes good stuff or is like fun to listen to or watch stream, you got to be interested in stuff that's interesting, that's different. Like, you got to have a life experience outside of, you know, what you're doing in that moment, whether that's you watched some weird Japanese movie last night, or you fucking went into some deep Russian techno-based wormhole, you know, like whatever it is, like that's what makes you. That weird taste that you have, that weird drive that you have at 4 a.m, where you're like, no one else probably likes this, but I like this, you know?
I'm actually kind of curious. Do y'all find yourselves more inspired by other music when like it comes to writing your own music, or things outside of music, like experiences or
No, I'm sorry, I disagree. I've only ever been inspired by other people's music. I've never been like this moment or whatever. It's always been like that's interesting, that's clever. I swear, yeah.
Really? Interesting. Weird.
I find that if I spend too much time outside or if I go on vacation, I don't make music afterward. I don't know why. I just can't get back into the flow of it. I have to like.
No, dude, I like to make music about a vibe. Like, it's not even based. Like, I take obviously musical ideas and shit, but like especially when I write lyrics and stuff, it's about like a moment, and it's like a combination of moments, you know, that all fit like a certain theme, basically.
Well, I think my answer is probably a little more deeper than what I just said. I mean, like once I'm making the track, I have to have something in my brain, right? Like, for example, all the mid-tempo stuff was me riding my motorcycle. But to get started on a project, I have to be inspired. I don't open my DAW unless I heard something that inspires me. And I think like Musar can talk about like architect versus gardener. I'm definitely gardener, definitely. And that's probably why my process is the way it is.
For me, man, I think it's a bit of both. The only reason I say a bit of both is because none of them are exactly true to themselves. Like, for me, I find myself writing because I just want to write. And then I also find where all these things that I'm writing, right, they have like a theme and they have like how you could say a vibe, but they all kind of match well. And like, I'm writing an album right now, and like, I'm used to writing EPs. And for me, I'm used to writing bulk. So for me, it's easier to just pick a theme and be like, I have all this work, so let's kind of make this emotionally connected to one of each other, and then write a whole story behind it and kind of build like off of that. So
See,
for me, that's a lot easier.
I kind of halfway agree with what Nexy's saying now I think about it, because a lot of the things I'm inspired by, video games, anime, movies, like those moments, those visuals, whatever, a lot of it's supported by a soundtrack. So like when I wrote a song after playing Doom, yeah, like I was pumped up from playing Doom and I was thinking about demons and portals to hell and shit. Like that came too. But I was also like influenced by the actual soundtrack of that song, which is like, it's kind of a bad example because that's like purposefully imposing. Whereas like, I don't know, I remixed the soundtrack of Alien, like the moment where the fucking alien first drops down and you like really first see the silhouette of it. Like that moment, I was like, that's the vibe I want in this song. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I also I sampled the soundtrack. You know what I mean? It wasn't just the moment. It was also, like Nexy said, someone else's music at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I was saying,
sorry, did you finish that? I want to hear that, dude.
Oh, hear what? What I was saying.
Did you sample the alien? Is that what you said?
Yeah, he said.
Yeah, that's
I'm saying song, I want to hear that.
Yeah, the song Black Hole. There's a song called Black Hole that I rapped.
I know Black Hole. Yeah, of course.
That's the Alien remix, dude. Yeah.
Sick. I never even caught that it was an Alien remix. Maybe I wasn't.
That's cool though. That's really cool. But yeah, like I was saying, it's just I'm a bit of both. Like sometimes, music for me is, something happened and like I won't necessarily write about it, but like my music kind of will express those kind of vibes without me kind of being directly opposing to it. Like I'll just be like, I'm in this situation, but I'm not going to necessarily write to that. I'm just going to use the feelings to make it into like sound design or whatever. Like I kind of just sample how I feel and interpret that in audibly. So for me, I kind of just do a bit of both. I like inspiration from other artists, but I want to see what do those artists like bring emotionally for me. Yeah. Like if I hear a Sophie track, I hear like rage. I want to make something that's
but you might want to do like a sad Sophie type track.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
that's how I do things.
I get that. I mean, like the reason why I kind of ask is because I don't really do either. Like I've never really felt inspired. Like I don't write music because I get inspired. I write music because it's like the only thing I know how to do. And it's like the only thing I'm even halfway good at doing.
Just showing up to work, man.
So, no, that's literally it. Like it's just hours put in. Like it's just like I have nothing better to do, and like I don't know. I've never really felt
that
like
way sometimes.
I'm pulled to music.
Are you not precious with your work?
No, that's
Are you not
super
precious
like
with your work or something like that?
Oh no! I hate every song I write. I hate every single song I finish. But like
Musar's like a fucking monk, dude. Like he could be doing anything with his time, but he chose to travel to the fucking music temple and just fucking spend all his time there. Like I got all this other bullshit going on in life I'm wrapped up in, and I'm like all these excuses. Like he's like, nah, man, fuck that, dude. I'm immersed. Like I admire that so
I don't
much.
know. It's like I don't know. I honestly I feel jealous sometimes because like
about what am I not following? I don't understand what the fuck. What do you mean?
Like I literally like I don't write music based on an inspiration. Like I look at it as literally like a craft.
No, that's what Carter says too, man. Carter swears up and down that he has no emotion in his music, that this is what he does, that it's a visceral thing, right? Like that he makes music and it's not tied to anything.
Yeah, like
I would love to be like that.
Like my music like definitely reflects how I'm feeling. I don't think I can like avoid it, but like when I'm sitting down to write a song, I don't go into the mindset of like I want to be inspired. Like the idea of like I have to be inspired to open my DAW is like a totally foreign concept for me. Like it's time for me to write music, so I sit down and I write music. Dude, I've never ever thought about it any other way. Like
I'm the complete opposite, dude. It's literally lightning in a bottle. Like I have an idea and it's like, okay, like do it, fucking get it out, and then it's like I'm just gonna listen to that song for the next week and a half. Until I think it's something else.
God, I wish. I hate every song.
I can kind of be like that with how Musar's feeling. Like I can kind of get like that where I don't have any like, I don't really love this track. Like I get that. I totally understand that.
I mean, like, yeah,
I totally get what you mean though. But it's not necessarily that that's what it is. I'm just saying like I get how your process is.
No worries. I pick up what you're putting down.
Yeah. Thank you.
Do you get excited? Like, I found that, like, I got to constantly find new things to get excited about. And like the most recently is working with vocalists. And then after that started to wear off, it was collaborating. So I'm sure, once I get to the top of the mountain, there'll be a point where there's nothing left for me to get excited about. But there's still stuff. Like, maybe you just got to find something, man.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was answering a question in chat. No, I get that. Like, I've honestly felt like that a lot, where it's like I feel like I'm missing something, and that's kind of why I ask these questions about inspiration stuff, because I always feel like I'm doing a job essentially, and sometimes I take solace in that. Like it's the fruit of my labor. I am putting my time into something. I am turning it into something that I can be proud of in some way, if for no other reason than to say I did this. And I guess that's why I find it hard to look back at my older songs with nostalgia, kind of harkening back to another comment. Like, I don't think of those songs as anything more than like a mark of where I've come. And that's what helps me keep going. Like, seeing that, like, hey, this song is just dog shit. This song is just absolute horse shit. What the fuck was I thinking? This song, dog shit. I can't believe I made that song. This song, man, I can't believe I fucked up on the drop. There's a big change in what I just said there. Yeah. There's a big change in how I'm approaching that song. This next song, man, I wish I could have done this thing to just get it to that level of being perfect. Wow. The way that I perceive my music has always been a refinement of a process, not any sort of like divine muse.
But Moose, I mean, like, I don't know how old you are, but I'm assuming you're closer to my age. Yeah, dude, that's like the lesson of life, isn't it, man? It's once you pull away all the fucking sugar, that's what I mean. I think you're being a realist more than anything. That's what's going to make you great. Also, is that you're approaching it so technically and not being super romantic about each little fucking snare.
I guess.
Like, there's something about that that's going to make you successful.
I'm interested in this though, like, because this is so opposite of my process. Like I said, you're like scheduled damn near with how you have like a regiment.
Oh
damn
yeah.
Near.
My life is super scheduled. Yeah, I can't not be scheduled.
I feel like if I force myself to do that, it might end up being good for me in the end. It might. But like at the end of the day, I can't imagine doing that. Do you not ever like, I don't know, you never listen to a fucking song and you're just like, God damn, like I want to fucking make something like that. You don't ever have that feeling?
I mean,
all the time.
In terms of like, I mean, I guess it's a different approach. And like I'm gonna say something that's gonna sound weird, but I'm saying it in company that I think understands, and I'm saying this as someone who is on the autism spectrum. It does kind of come down to being a little autistic. Like, I don't really like, and I say that in the sense of like, I look at these songs very analytically. Like, I went like, because I saw Sefrin had a question that I think would be great to get to after this about listening to music, but like, I listen to music all the time. Like, I can think of very few moments when I'm not listening to music, like most of that is when I'm making music. And so like, if I'm just listening to music, a lot of times I'll have some analysis plugins open just to look at and like try and understand the song. Like, literally, I have Spotify plugged into Ableton into my computer so I can open up Spectre, the thing that Whittler showed me how to use, and like, I just look at how the song moves and flows, and I connect that with what I'm hearing in the music, and it gives me a deeper understanding of how they're doing what they're doing, why they're doing what they're doing, and that inspires me, I guess. It drives me to do something. It does speak to what you're saying about hearing a song and be like, I want to do that, but it's more from like this endless thirst for learning and for knowledge. And so like, again, like I know it sounds weird to say like be a little autistic, but that's kind of the thing. Like, you want to have a moment of hyper obsession and be willing to lose yourself in that moment, regardless of any sort of drive or like contrary judgment.
See, that's where I kind of differ. Like, you look, I agree. Like, I think most streamers and like producers are a little bit on this. Most people are on the spectrum at some point, but like especially like this edge of the world. But I I don't know. I feel like I look at it more like an addiction. Like I'm chasing a dragon. Like I get this. I get a like I almost like biological, right? I get a fucking euphoria spike. Like what's the actual dopamine and serotonin spike when I hear a new song that I like, that I'm just like, oh yeah, like that's the fucking shit. You know what I'm saying? That's the inspiration for me, right? So I'll play that song. Like when I hear a new rap that I like, when I hear like a rapper, a new song I like, first thing I do, fucking look up the lyrics and I learn how to rap it word for word. Like kind of the same how you do with production, with like analysis. I want to fucking learn like the inside out of it, all the words, what they mean, like I want to learn it like note for note, not just like be able to rap it like this. Like I want to rap it exact, almost like an impression. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And kind of add that to my catalog of like knowledge and technique. But it's kind of like an addiction for me. Like once I wear that song out, dude, I'm just out looking for that next one that just gives me that fucking that spine tingle. You know what I mean? We're just like, oh yeah, that's what I like.
Yeah, you kind of want to like reverse engineer it, and I'm kind of the same way too. Like,
yes,
because like for me, like I have like audio processing disability, so everything's like super delayed. So it's funny. So
Wait,
I'm just like, what?
Nope, you can't say that and not explain it. What are we talking about here?
So it's like, so especially it's like a how do I explain it? It's like a learning disability where everything's like it's off. So everything's off like a couple of milliseconds and stuff. So it's like having a delay in your ears.
Really, like
so yeah,
your brain's like kicking in and processing it later. Is that the kind of the idea?
It's processing.
Bro, he's got latency IRL, bro.
That's a cool concept.
Yeah.
Okay. So
so that's kind of like what it is.
Do you find that it hurts you in conversation?
Yeah, all the time. Like all the time.
Now I'm starting to understand. Yeah.
Yeah. So like a lot of times I have to literally be listening to somebody. So sometimes I'll just be like, if I'm not faced towards something, that's why if you saw me during the whole thing, I'm like readjusting because I'm trying to listen. Like I'm trying to like
in my good ear now.
I would have never known. You're doing a great fucking job.
Yeah, I would not have thought about that.
Yeah, no, and a lot of people don't because I don't want them to know. And like, and I tell people all the time, I'm like, yo, like I have a disability, and like people are just like, what? Like you played off so cool. I'm like, yeah, but that makes an advantage for me. So when I listen to stuff, my interpretation of things is like way far different than the normal personality. So yeah, no, and it's really cool. Like I'll hear something and I'll be like, okay, like this kick drum is like kind of off, but it's not. Like, and then I'll listen to it and I'll just be like, oh wait, this is really cool. And then like you can hear from my taste, I'm just like, whoa, this is interesting. But my point is, I come of it from a sound design perspective. Is like I listen to things in the spectrum of like, how can I interpret this in my own thing? And sometimes I just play stuff and I'm like, this is fun to listen to, and I fucking love it. Like 6/4 AR, you know, I love that. That's so fun for me to listen to. And like
dude,
sometimes
I'll feel it.
and like I love just listening to like weird music, but I also love just listening to stuff that I will hopefully make, or like stuff that, because I come from the DJ kind of aspect, so I have to constantly be listening to new records. I have to constantly be so like from being a DJ, like, you know, and then going into production, you always got to find what works and what doesn't. So for me, with those kind of perspectives, I'm always like super analytical, but then I'm also like, let me just enjoy it because I like it and I don't need to listen to it.
There's something to be said for like staying relevant. Like enjoy it because you like it, but like you got to make music that's relevant. Like and I can't fully enjoy something I make if I don't feel like it's relevant anyways. You know what I mean? Like if I'm sure as feedback streamers, we've all gotten the fucking just like 2013 big house track. You know what I mean? Where it's like, dude, this is good, but like, what the fuck? Why are you still making this? Like, what the fuck? Yeah. No, you got to be.
There comes a point where
there was a question I wanted to ask when you were talking about your condition. Have you, of all three of you, have you experienced like any hearing damage or hearing loss, like since you've been involved in music? I think we all can shake our head.
Yeah, I mean, I go to bed with tinnitus every night.
Yep, same. Okay, yeah, it sucks, dude. I was in a band for years too, so yeah.
I get it worse, man, because like where you think it's tinnitus, like for me, it's like 10 times worse.
Dude, I know. Like, I feel like where it literally sounds like a sine wave, just like for like a while, like hours sometimes. It's horrible.
Yeah, and when I go to shows, man, I have to put on like earplugs.
Yeah.
Like I just have to.
Yeah, no, PSA to all the young people watching. If you're young and you're watching this, wear ear protection and don't crank your headphones. Like,
Yeah.
because it's like
I gotta
fucking. You have a tolerance. Like, you have to turn shit up louder and louder as you get older, man. So just wear ear protection and turn your fucking headphones down. You will thank me 10 years from now. Trust me, man. Trust me.
I can't believe that landed. I can't believe that landed.
It's good timing.
Great.
It's just good timing, man.
I did not expect
Let
that
him
to
have
work.
it. Let him have it. But moving on to listening, just to kind of move on to the topic that Sephering asked about, like, how often do y'all actually listen to just music? Like, I always listen.
Myself.
I always listen. No, I was just to finish the thought. Like, I always listen to music for at least 30 minutes before I start writing. Every night.
Whoa.
Every time I write music, I listen to music for at least 30 minutes before I start.
I don't do it deliberately, but now that you mention it, I do too. At least like a few songs. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for me, I get into these periods like exactly like I am now, where I go, holy shit, I haven't like driven around listening to Spotify in weeks. And I force myself to go no producing for 2 days and let myself forget everything and then just like drift through playlists on Spotify as I commute to work or something until I go, holy shit, this song is amazing. Let me go to my computer and be inspired by that. Not copy it, but I have to forcefully remind myself. Because, for example, the only things I've listened to in the last 24 hours is stuff people have sent me on stream. And I don't consider that listening.
No.
When you're doing it with a critical ear, that's way different than driving around and vibing in your car.
Oh, yeah.
Even the songs that I end up loving on stream, it's like, it's just not the same. You're so right.
It's not. I think for me, coming from a DJ point of view, like when I used to DJ all the time, like finding the next hit and stuff, and like for me lately, it's just been honestly just finding stuff that like I used to like back in the day, and just finding myself to re-inspire myself to finish things. But on the occasion, do I consume music? Yes, like almost all the time. Like I'm playing something. I usually play it when I'm trying to like inspire or I'm trying to just enjoy and vibe out. I've never played music where I was like, "Ooh, I'm super sad, so I need to listen to Joji." Like, I've never been that type of person.
But to me,
Like,
I would argue that like crate digging isn't listening to music. You said it yourself. You're consuming it, but that's not listening to music, man. Like I know you're jumping ahead. I know you're jumping to 3/4 of the song and going, "Does this have a dope drop?" That's not listening to music.
No, dude, it's sitting there and enjoying it.
Yeah, no, but I'm not saying, that definitely agree with you. But I'm saying like there's stuff where I'm like, oh, I enjoy and like I'm very much passionate about it. And I'll listen to this shit like all the time. Like for me, I'll listen to Flume No Doubt, like whatever. Like this is whatever. Like I can play through. But if I'm trying to like find stuff, I'm gonna like dig and skip through. But if I'm just listening, like I'm gonna play stuff I'm relatively familiar with or want to like be inspired by, you know.
How often do y'all listen to full albums?
I just listened to recently I just listened to West Side Gun's full album like 100 times in a row.
It's been a while. There's only a few albums I could sit through and I could name them all on one hand.
Ooh. Was that your tweet albums, man, that you were trying to tag me in that chain letter?
So I'm so sorry, I couldn't hear you. What'd you say?
Was that your chain letter that you were going through?
It was, yeah. It was like a little. I'm surprised you remember that. But yes, I named all of the albums on that chain letter.
Did you guys like grow up on albums? Like I mean,
100%.
Yeah, I grew up on albums. Yeah,
that's why I just like that's what I know. Like if someone releases an album, I'm gonna bump the whole thing.
Yeah. Honestly, I grew up on like concept albums, like Pink Floyd's The Wall.
Yeah. Same.
Like honestly, one of my favorite Linkin Park records is 1,000 Suns because that is a full concept project, and I think it's one of their more underrated records.
I'll die on this sword. I've been waiting to say it in public for a long time. I've never liked Linkin Park.
You're allowed to.
I feel so good. I feel so good. Oh,
get it out.
Oh.
Tell us all your hot takes right now. All your hot takes. We're 2 hours in. All the hot takes right now.
We're in. Like there's just nothing wrong. There's nothing right about.
We're in the Nexy hot take corner now.
Oh, I feel so good.
Dude, you just haven't listened to enough, dude. The production. Oh my god, bro. What the fuck?
All right,
man. Or whatever, man. Dude,
you know what?
I get it.
You know what album I never skip? It's got to be the Panic at the Disco album, the first album they ever put out. Like that is like the one I never.
Wow.
Like I never skip that one, and then anything Flume puts out, I never skip. And yeah, what's up, dog? Anyways, but yeah, no, those are I really am like very nostalgic with my albums. Like I collect vinyl, so like for me, I love a good album. Like I love a good concept album. I love anything that's gonna take me into the artist's world. Like for me, that's something I'm always looking for with like anything, like especially EPs and stuff like that. That's what got me into music, was listening to a really good album and being like, wow, this changed my world, like perspective wise, you know.
Dude, did you guys like? Were you ever involved in like local music scenes? Did you guys do shows and stuff?
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
No, no.
actually,
I'm
no.
fine.
I wish.
Man,
I wish.
because those were some of the best like music listening, just like literally sitting down, like going to a show of a bunch of local bands, and they all hand out their fucking CDs and shit, and then you go home and put that shit in and like just jam it with your boys all night. Those are some of the best listening experiences of my life.
I mean, I went to
like,
shows, but I never got to actually like be in shows. I thought that's what you're talking
dude.
about.
I was gonna ask if anybody. I was gonna ask if you guys had any good show stories, because I've got
Oh, I got a
millions.
bunch.
I was in the parking lot after I don't remember, but it was like punk rock small club, and I would go every weekend. And I was in the parking lot about to pull away, and this girl bangs on my window, blah, 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 blah. And I roll down the window, and I'm like 17 years old, maybe, okay? And she's like, "They're trying to fucking kill me." And I was like, "Oh fuck!" I'm so naive, right? I let her into my car, so she's sitting in the passenger seat now. And she's like, "I gotta use your phone to call the cops." I hand her to my phone. She didn't call the cops. She called some dude or whatever. She was high out of her mind. No point to the story. My bad. But that's my brain. I just remembered it right now. So yeah, some super fucking drug.
Nah, dude, I remember like back in
What
my
happened?
metal. Was that it?
My friend was a little more savvy than me, and he was like, "Get the fuck out! Like, get out of here! What are you doing?" He handled the situation.
That's
for
good.
me.
I grew up in like there was a big for some reason in the Midwest. Do you guys know the band The Devil Wears Prada?
Oh,
the
yeah.
the metalcore Christian band. That was like the biggest thing. Yeah, they're Christian. That was like the biggest thing ever in my era.
Every
growing
metal
up.
band is Christian.
Yeah, true. It's weird, but
Praise God.
there was like a
It's
whole
so weird, dude.
there was a whole culture of like church-run metal shows for a very long time that were awesome, like dope, like big crowds, mosh pits and shit. But it's like all hosted by a church. You know what I mean? Like it's all about getting the youngins in the community together. They were amazing. I'm really glad people in chat know what I'm talking about, because this sounds ridiculous, but this is a whole subculture, and it was great. And I remember one night there was we played this show. I was in a metal band. We weren't Christian, by the way. I was in a metal band that played this circuit though. Like we played all the church shows. It was called, our band was called Shot in a Knife Fight. That was our metal band name.
That's a
Mind you,
good
we're
band
like
name.
15, 16, 17-year-old like kids, like literal kids. And we're hauling around like all this equipment, like doing like full on metal shows and shit. And there was a there was a big straight edge band. If anyone knows about straight edge culture, like there used to be like hardcore metal music that was specifically about like not doing drugs, not smoking, not drinking. Like they would do like X's was on everything, like straight edge, you know, and they were like hardcore, like they were tough guys, but they don't do drugs, you know, like that. And they had this big straight edge metal band, but like our town is like a drug town. Like they're all fucking drugged out and alcoholed out all the time. Like that's where I grew up. So when this big straight edge band came, there ended up being like basically like a gang fight between like the straight edge kids and like our towns, like bands, and the police showed up like at this this is at a church. Yeah, like this was the kind of shit that I grew up with. And like these bands were good, by the way. Like I still have some of these CDs. There was a band called Easy Come Easy Go. I'm gonna find some of these files and play them on stream one day. Like honestly, some of the best like progressive like punk metal music I've ever heard in my life.
Oh my gosh,
Love
dude.
that shit.
I can't get over. Was it Knife at the Gun Show or
Oh, yeah.
No, it's shot in a knife fight.
Yeah, it's so good, dude.
Oh my god.
Dude, I encourage you guys to try and look it up. I'm sure you could find it somewhere. But
It's like some
we
Fearless
had
Records
some bangers,
shit.
dude. I was the guitarist. I was lead guitar. Dude, we recorded 2 full-length albums. Like we were fucking in the studio, Young, bro. Young. Getting it done.
More of the stories don't go to church. I'm just stealing content from chat at this point.
Oh my god, chat
We're
is
getting
crazy.
in on hour 2. I'm starting to hit my limit. It's been a long day.
Yeah, I'm on beer number 4.
All right, we want to start doing some Q&A from chat and then start winding things down. Maybe go another maybe 10, 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, let's do it.
Alrighty. So, chat, have any questions? Where did you all get your names? Okay, who wants to go first?
I'll go last.
All right, let's go counterclockwise. So, starting with Keifer, Nexy, Rejectdamain, and myself.
My first name is Keifer. Like, that's my first name, actually, spelled the same way. People ask me that all the time. That is actually my first name. Green is actually not like a weed thing, even though it works now that I'm an adult. But originally, Keifergreen was my Xbox gamer tag when I got like an original Xbox. And I was probably like 11 or 12 at the time. I don't remember exactly, but around that age. And one of my favorite bands was Green Day. So it was Keifergreen. That's how the name became a thing.
That's cool.
A good story.
That's pretty hard.
Mine's not as cool.
Green is my favorite color too. Yeah.
Hey.
So mine is, I used to play in Halo tournaments in high school and a little bit after high school. And I was on my way to a Halo tournament with my teammate because you played 2 versus 2 in Halo 1. And I used to play as the name Dre. Everybody, my mother calls me Dre. My fiance calls me Dre. That's like my name, right? And on the way to the tournament, this is when I started getting really good. My teammate goes to me, "Hey man, you need a gamer name." And I'm like, "All right, cool. Can you pick it for me?" He goes, "All right, how about Gunsmoke?" I'm like, "Oh, that's so fucking cool,
yeah, dude."
I'm like, "I'm gonna be Gunsmoke." And he was like, "You know what? Nah, I like it too much. I'm gonna be Gunsmoke. Why don't you be Nexus? NEXUS?" I'm like, "All right, that's not as cool, but I'll take it, right?"
I'll be Nexus. Yeah.
So we started winning tournaments as Nexus and Gunsmoke, and
That's
then people just started calling me like Nexy for short, like Sexy Nexy was
That's
my
a
gamer
good story. Hell yeah.
and Nexy just stuck ever since. So
That's a good one. I
Nice.
like that. I never
Very
heard
good.
that.
could have been Gunsmoke, which is way cooler.
No, not anymore. You really want to be DJ Gunsmoke in 2020, man?
Yeah, brother.
Yeah, brother.
No.
Oh,
All right.
Cool, man. That's a cool name.
RDM, what about you?
All right, so I used to go as like KOM. So like KOM was like a moniker for just like I was very naive when I wrote it, and it was just like kick out mainstream because I was just like one of those like elitists that was like I don't like mainstream music for a time being for high school. Like I'm 24 now. I made that alias like when I was 17, and I changed it because I was just like I don't want to brand like that. I'm not really about that. So I changed it to my Instagram handle, which was Rejectdamain. So it didn't mean anything at first. Like it was just like a moniker. Like I was just like, okay, this is something nobody's using it. Whatever. It wasn't Rejectdamain, and like it's just so funny because like it caught on. Like people kept being like, oh, like what's up, Rejectdamain? And I was just like, okay, like I just stopped caring. But like when I was 18 I started to care, and I was just like, no, it's domain.
Dude,
right,
we need to get you a new name. Let's all come up with a new name for
Just
Rejectdamain.
RDM, dude.
RDM
Dude,
was
I'll revert to Gunsmoke. You be kick out the mainstream, and we'll do a show. That was so dope to me.
Oh my god. Yeah,
Okay.
that was my original moniker. And then what happened was I just wanted to just kind of do Rejectdamain because I felt like that was more simpler, and like I felt like I was more in line with that. And the whole story behind Rejectdamain was like to do things that are weird and to do things that aren't necessarily popular but in a way of your own, because I was into like very like the old school hip hop mentality of like I'm going to make this my own. I want to do something like in my own perspective. So like I want to give it life, like because I was flipping samples, I was remixing tracks, I was like doing stuff where it was just like I want to put my own flavor and then make something of my own. So that's where it came from. And then
To do right, just have a message behind our name, something to believe in past the music, and you did it just with a name, dude. That's pretty powerful.
thank you. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I appreciate that.
I dig it.
I
Mine.
was thinking about maybe. Oh, go ahead, Musa.
Musar. It's funny you say that because it's actually
I'm
one way to
getting wrong,
pronounce
dude.
it. It's all good, man. Well, I mean, Musar is actually pretty simple. Like if you just look up MUSSAR without the music on Google, you see this Wikipedia entry. I found it. It's a Hebrew word that I thought sounded cool and it meant something important because it's talking about like education and like being a better person. So I don't know. I don't think it's like a big thing. I thought it sounded cool and it's about like education. I do like music education.
What's your real fucking name?
What?
That's
My
cool.
real name?
Yeah.
Joshua.
What?
What did you think it was?
Yo, guys, he told me and I was like, it's Joshua? Like, I was
Yeah.
like tripping.
Nah, you never told me that. I thought you were...
I swear I've mentioned this before. I swear I've said this before.
I'll block this out of my memory too. Don't worry.
You told me, Musa. You told me, and I was shook as just like, what?
In the top corner. I mean, it does. Yeah, it does say my full name in the top right corner of my stream. Dude, every single day.
It says mine too, and people still come in and like, bro, I know your full name. I'm like, yeah, I know, man. It says it right there. Like, oh, it's
doxed, bro.
Ruby.
Oh, it's not on here. I'd have. It's when I'm streaming on my laptop.
That's hilarious,
Yeah.
bro. Oh my god. Okay, nice. I
But-
never knew that. That's insane.
What?
I know. It's just a big real. It's a normal human being name. Can you believe it?
Musar name reveal 2020
Jesus Christ.
viral.
Yo, shout out to the person that said rhythm for RDM. That's awesome.
There you go. All right,
I was
but
thinking about trying to
Hey, man.
get just I was thinking about trying to just get Keifer on Twitch because like I've looked up the channel, it has like 6 followers. It's
Get
probably
it.
not even active.
Get
Yeah.
it.
Ask, I don't know if Cryo did it, but Cryo got the name Cryo. I have no
think
idea
I
how.
Yeah.
I think I should be able to do it. From what I've read, like if it's an inactive account, you can work it out, I think.
Yeah.
Like through a ticket system or something.
Something, yeah.
Quick follow up here from Dom. What names did you have before, or what names did you almost pick? Because we already got one from RDM. We got, what was it, Kill the Mainstream?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Anyone else got any
weird.
older names?
I've been
Oh,
an
I have
internet user since 1998, 1999, so I've had a plethora of bad screen names and fucking. I mean, the list is long.
Yeah, but
man.
like
What do you
music
want?
wise.
Music wise, no. I've always been.
Dude, I've
Nexy.
got
I
a
have-
few. I've got a few, man.
I have a few other aliases.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I have one, but I'm not gonna reveal it. That's gonna be
Okay.
that'll be at 200 subs.
I already told you about shot in a knife fight. That one's like pretty embarrassing. So,
I
but,
still think that's a good like post-hardcore band name though.
dude, for sure. After shot in a knife fight, there was I got into like producing because like we were in the studio all the time, and I was like getting into rapping and stuff. So I grouped up with a couple of friends of mine, and we started producing in FL Studio, like doing dubstep and stuff, like as a group, like 3 guys all together. And our group name was Drug Noise because
Drug noise?
No. All right.
You want to know the origin of that name is pretty quick. It was one night, me and the boys were in my room, like at my dad's house at his apartment, producing, like trying to work on like Wubs and Massive. And we were smoking weed, and my dad texts me from the other room, and he says, if you don't turn that drug noise down, I'm gonna come in there and like whatever, you know what I mean? But we moniker Drug Noise after that.
Did you
Oh my
immediately like look at each other and
God.
were like, "That's it,
Dude,
That's
yes! We were like, whoa! I swear to God.
Oh man, to be young again.
But then after
my-
that, I have another. Wait, I have one more pretty embarrassing one. Sorry, this one is just dumb, but it was before Keifergreen. I was Keith the Phonomancer.
I know
which,
that.
like,
I know that.
Yeah, it's just
You
some
know I
dumb
know
shit I made up.
You know,
Phonomancer. I know. Look at my sorry. He's like, imagine reading that in your fucking feedback queue and chat, and just be like, bro,
did you
what?
catch that I put that in the diss track? Did you capture
Huh?
that?
Yes, yes.
Okay, cool. Just all right.
Yeah, like Phonomancer. Yes, like an audio wizard, like a sound wizard.
Ooh.
So,
Bro, I literally had like I wish I still had it. Fuck. I had like a 10-foot wide printed banner that I would hang up like when I DJ'd and shit with that name on it. I swear to God.
You know,
Yo.
don't worry. Mine is just as bad. So don't feel bad. 200
no,
subs
okay.
though. 200 subs.
So my question to the chat is, most of you guys know who Carter is. Carter and I are doing like a little bass house duo, and we have songs done. We have a whole marketing plan, but we don't have a name. So if you guys have any killer suggestions, please hit me up, man. We've been
Yo.
looking for a name for 3 weeks now.
Yo,
Can't find one.
Yo, you know what the name should be?
CFNM.
Oh no!
Isn't it like
Clothed female nude male. Oh no, dude. Clothed,
You gotta do it. You gotta do it now, man. It's bass house, man.
CFNM stands for clothed female nude male. It's a porn subcategory.
I'm pretty sensitive to like what's Googleable. You know what I mean? Like your stuff. So
Not quite the boat you're looking for. I mean, CFNM music.
I like it.
That's what I'm saying. Musar shows up as one thing. Musar music shows up as another. All I'm saying.
CFNM music, bro. That's honestly, I like that. I think that's honestly a kind of a clever name. I would laugh at that for sure.
you can have it. Go on.
my other
All right,
alias.
yeah, we gotta let the main go. Yeah.
Alright.
The other alias I was gonna pick. Oh god. A little embarrassed, but it was gonna be Roy the Nerd.
Wait, Roy the nerd?
Yeah.
That's not terrible, but that's pretty bad. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty bad, dude.
Roy the Nerd. Okay.
Listen, all of these names we just named are better than blank beats. All the fucking.
Damn, shots fucking fired, dude.
Wait, is your name even Roy?
No.
It's John.
It's terrible.
John.
Wait, what is everyone's real name? We already got everyone. Wait, there's only one person who hasn't said their real name yet. Because we heard from Keifer, we heard from John, we heard from Joshua. Who haven't we heard from yet?
I already know.
We all know, but
he said it's short.
Miguel.
Miguel.
yeah,
What up, Miguel?
My real name is Andreas.
that's a good one. I think you have the best name out of everyone here. No
You
offense.
did explain though.
To
Oh,
present
earlier.
company included.
Angel Andres Amaral, and I can't pronounce it correctly, but I had a Cuban name. I had my father's name when I was born, and when I was like 1 year old, my mama decided she didn't like my daddy no more, so they broke up or whatever. And then my mom's like, "Ah, you can't have that name no more." So she gave me the German side of my family pronunciation, Andreas, right? Andreas Pearson.
I thought it was gonna be Greek or something. Okay, well.
Oh.
It's crazy, man.
That's
It's
brave.
a good. I like
Yo,
that.
Whit, how else should I have said it, Whittler? Whittler was making fun of me because I tried to pronounce it. Should I have really just bit the bullet and been like Andres? Or Angel? Andres? Amaral? I have to try.
Oh, Andy, bro. What's up, Andy?
Yeah. How much your name changes? Well, let me look something out.
I looked it up the other day. It's expensive, bro. It's no.
Nah, dude, I'm staying Keifer, man, forever, bro. This is my shit. Fuck I before E except after C. That's some goddamn bullshit.
Are we gonna say Nexy?
Ugh, I hate my name, but it's okay.
We got any more chat questions?
Yeah. Any more chat questions?
Yeah. If not, we can. I think we can wind down.
Yo, Musar, you really run a great show, man.
Yeah, this was awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Look, as I said this earlier in the stream, I don't know if you caught it in chat, but I said the thing I like about these streams is I can just shut up and let you three talk.
You know, you got a good team here. Like me and Nexy can fucking go for hours. Then you put this is the first time I've talked to Damain, but you know, he's awesome, dude. Added in, it's great.
Bro, you're something special, man. I like you a lot. Like,
Thank you.
platonic, but
There we
like
go.
your energy brought a ton, like brought a lot to the stream, man. Nice work.
Oh yeah,
Thank you,
aren't you starting to stream now, RDM?
Yes, I'm starting to stream. It's going to be more like podcast kind of stuff like this, but like definitely just because my computer can't take a whole production stream and just like DJ sets, stuff like that.
Yeah. What's
But
your Twitch?
more
Let me shut you out.
Yeah, it's Rejectdamain, just like just as you see it right here on Twitch.tv. So yeah.
Nice.
Wood. Excuse me, not Wood. I'm so sorry. I was reading his chat as I was talking. Musar, you were peaking at like 75 viewers, man. That's really good by my standards.
For a podcast?
Yes.
Look, it's all you guys, okay?
Look at that humble nod he just did.
Wow. That's awesome.
No, it's all y'all.
Much
No,
love, dude.
no.
Somebody in
I
chat
don't
had
know.
a good question.
Yeah,
He
I
said, do you
saw.
listen to music in different languages, or do you just stick to English?
Oh
I
yeah,
love listening to music in different languages.
all the
I like
time.
it better than English most of the time. I'm obsessed with Ash and Donk right now, dude. It's so good. I swear.
I
Don't
started
fuck
doing that early on, like young,
Owen?
dude. Well, I got into Rammstein when I was like 11 or 12, and I was like, oh, like there's music in other languages.
Can I
Oh
can I
shit!
play a song real quick, just to start us ending off this stream? I think it'll be a good way to pull us into the finish line here. If that's all right with you. And this is in a different language, so this will hopefully answer Sean's question. Just set this up. Once it plays.
حمود 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 حبيبي حمود حمود حبيبي حمود حبيبي حمود حمود حبيبي حمود حمود قوم اقعد من النوم
Yes.
قوم اقعد من النوم قوم اقعد من النوم يا احمد حمادي يا احمد حمادي حمود.
I'm gonna stop it there because it just loops.
Oh my god.
Do you consider
Yeah.
that music?
Huh?
Do you consider that music?
I consider that the peak of music.
The peak, bro.
He said the peak, bro.
Nothing can be better than that, okay? Hamoud Habibi? Are you kidding me?
I enjoy it for
But yeah, I listen to a lot of different music in different languages. Like I love Bali funk. I love like I'm
Ballet.
Mexican, so like
Ballet.
for me Mexican music, ballet funk. You know, I love a lot of like very percussional kind of music. Anything that has like shakers or whatever. So like jazz. I like different different. There's another jazz like thing that they do across the world. It's super sick. Forget the name, but I like very weird, eclectic kind of stuff.
Dude, honestly, if it sounds good, it sounds good. Like even when it comes to language, to me, I will learn to sing along with it if it's in another language. Like if it sounds good, it's good, man.
I've been doing a lot of just for lack of like my own ignorance. I don't know what genre it is, but I got this huge pack of like Indian folk stuff where they're clapping, so they're keeping rhythm and singing at the same time. It's unreal. You're gonna see a lot of it in the Keifergreen battle coming up soon.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. That's exciting, dude. Speaking of, I guess that's actually a good segue. Why don't we start our end to this podcast by going around the chat and have everyone talking about, one more time who they are, shout out your social media, everything, so that people can go follow you, tell us what you're working on, what you got coming up, and then we'll probably start wrapping things up here. So let's start with RDM.
Yo, okay. Hi, I'm Rejectdamain. I have an album coming out this summer that I'm super excited to work on. I have a lot of homies that I'm putting on the album, and then I have an EP that drops tonight. I'm actually supposed to be finishing it right now, but yeah, I'm an EP that's dropping out tonight, and then I have a lot of collaborations with side projects with my homies, doing some punk band stuff, doing a lot of like a lot of older kind of stuff I used to be into. So I'm working with more collaborative people, and yeah, and follow me on Instagram, on Twitter, and yeah, on Twitch too.
Hell yeah. Alrighty. Well, everyone say goodbye to RDM. Have a good one, buddy. Thank you again so much.
Good
Love
times,
y'all.
man.
And I'll catch
Much love,
you
dude.
later. Bye. Oh, I was going to pull him out. Anyways, up next, on the far side, we have Nexy.
Hey, dude! First of all, really incredible job, Moose. Second of all, Joshua. Sorry. Second of all, dude, the chat was incredible for this podcast. I've done some
Hell
of these
yeah.
podcasts before, and it's like radio silence, even though there's people watching. You guys definitely drove the energy. So nice work, chat room. Third, look, man, if you don't know me, that's your fault, not mine, bro. You fucked up. Not the other way around. I got a tune coming out real soon. We just signed it. It has Whittler playing the guitar. It has Cryo on the lead. It has Panic singing, and it has me doing everything else. It's probably the most special song I've ever written, so be on the lookout. And I'm gonna fuck Sweaty up on Keifergreen's beat battle. Peace. Love you.
Fuck yeah. All right, everyone say goodbye to Nexy.
Adios, my brother.
Bye. Okay.
Yo.
Last but certainly not least, you fucking carried this podcast, dude.
Ah,
Fucking,
dude, no
you
way,
count,
man.
you count,
like,
you count the minutes. You count the minutes. You probably had the lion's share, my G.
I know. I feel bad about that sometimes. I go on
don't,
and on.
no. Look, we like hearing you talk, man. Otherwise, we would shut you up.
Well, I love talking, man. So I'm about four beers deep, so I'll try to make it quick. I am gonna go live after this though, and just do a drunken feedback remix challenge combo. I've got an idea for some shit. So, but anyways, I'm Keifergreen. I do challenges and remix and all that shit. Like I said, I also host competitions. I have the beat battle coming up soon. Nexy, who's just in here, he mentioned we're doing the like a really prepared, planned beat battle coming up with cash prizes. That's going to be on May 29th is the next one. He's going to be battling for the championship. So make sure you hang out and tune in for that. But yeah, love you guys, man. Thank you so much, Musar. This was a fucking great time.
How long are you gonna be until you go live? How long should I?
Oh, dude, I'm about to like do it right now.
All right, sounds good. Everyone say goodbye to Keifer. I will see you all later. Bye. Alrighty. Thank you all so much for that. This was wild. This was so fun. We had like 80 fucking viewers. Can you believe that? That's crazy. That was so wild. This was so much fun, honestly. Thank you all for stopping by. Thank you to everyone who followed. Thank you to Donovan for those bits. Thank you for everyone who hosted, who rated. Thank you all so much. This was like so much fun. I love doing these podcasts, and y'all are just real awesome people for hanging out with me. We're gonna go raid Keifer as soon as he goes live. Since this is probably gonna go up on YouTube, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell. Do all that freaking YouTube stuff. Thank you all so much. Please follow me on Twitch. Please follow me on Twitter. If you're watching on Twitch, please follow me on Twitter. And this is going to be where I cut the video on YouTube.